now and then when I feel a bit buggy, I look at the floor, maybe need a new ruggy. Scratch that, I'll get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some more Man Huggie. Oh, man. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.
Recording in progress.
What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy, Andrew Schultz, aka Skibbity Two Shoes, and who am I with, as always? Joseph Hugger, aka Old Man Huggie. Talk shit or get off the pod, episode 172. The Emperor's got a new car, the Tesla SS. Be careful though, because when you make a hard right turn, the handling's a little sketchy. Welcome, motherfucker.
That's actually pretty good. I didn't even think about that. Model SS, touche. Touche, sir. Allegedly.
Who's quick?
It's
taller, Elon or Trump?
It's the Tesla SS, but it's a Spetsnaz edition, so it's like a crossover, you know.
Right, it's a part of their swastika line.
Yeah, swastika. This is too good. These are great. I'm loving them.
No, but seriously, who's taller, Trump or Elon?
I think Trump.
How tall is Elon?
I don't know, but Trump's like 6'5" or some wild
No,
shit.
he's not. Get the fuck. Dude,
No, he's like
you bought the bullshit. He's like 6'2" on a good day. He says he's 6'4", 250. That's literally Travis Kelce's height and weight.
Says he's 6'3", 215.
Yeah, 215.
But now it says 6'2", 244. I don't know. Is Elon taller?
I don't know, because the Iron Ape was saying that he looked taller whenever they were out there.
Says he's 6'2". But they might have him like stand farther back or stand closer. You know, like there's lots of movies with like Al Pacino where they're like, all right, like you need to step back and like so you look taller. There's lots of camera tricks and like the angles.
And Elon probably has some like lifts in his Nazi tank commander outfit that he wears.
And you know, Trump is notorious for like leaning forward all the time. Whenever he like stands on his tippy toes.
Yeah, you know what else? You know, I mean, that's a sign of Alzheimer's or dementia.
Really?
Like a weird gait, like where you're like.
There is the stories where he's like dragging his right foot now when he walks and all this. Have you not seen that? Where they're like, look,
no.
You haven't seen these videos? They're like, look at Trump dragging his foot. I'm like, well,
like a G, like a Crip.
No, it's not like it's not cool. It's like somebody who's not cool trying to be like, look at my pimp walk, and you're like, dude, you walk like you have dementia.
Well, like it doesn't make sense how Trump doesn't have diabetes, and maybe that's the first sign that actually no, he does. He's gonna lose that foot.
Maybe. You get on that
sugar.
You get on that Manjaro, dude.
I was just
Manjar.
Like, could you imagine if Trump? Because I saw The Apprentice, that movie, with Jeremy Cohen and is it Jeremy Cohen? No, whatever. You know the guy's name.
Yeah.
Kendall from Succession, but it's about Trump and Roy Cohn, but Trump's taking diet pills throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Which like back in the 80s was just speed.
Yeah, he's taking a pseudoephedrine, just like.
Yeah. Like, but obviously he's been putting on cheeseburgers because it didn't work. But like, I was like thinking like, what if he took Ozempic like right now? Like, and all of a sudden like Trump's like like drops weight. I was like, that would be the wake up call to everybody. Like I think anybody who didn't realize it before would realize how fat he is actually right now, if he lost a bunch of weight, because he probably look fucking weird, like a fucking like like when if you become like if you take it too far with your obesity, and then
When you dial it back.
When and then you lose weight, it's like drinking your liver to the point of no return. Your liver's really resilient, but there's a point where it's just not gonna work anymore. It's like you got so fat that even now that you're skinny, you have like all this extra skin and you just look weird. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, there's surgeries and stuff to do that. So not besmirch people who like gotta lose weight. No, I know. But
I'm just saying, like Trump would be one of those people where it's like you could tell that he used to be fat.
Oh, most definitely.
If he lost a bunch of weight.
No, that would just be weird. Like, I'm trying to imagine, like, you should put in your since you're the AI king, like, what would Trump look like if he was on Ozempic?
No, well, because Trump will tell you, dude. He'll get on the AI and like show himself like as like a fucking bodybuilder or something. Like, I don't need to see that. Like,
make sure if anybody asks if I was on Manjaro, I turn into a
fat guy though,
bodybuilder. No, I mean he's not.
But he's just pushed the limits of his epidermis.
He's a perfect example of why I say like golf is an acquired skill, and you don't have to be athletic to play golf, because you could be like a black Asian dude, a mixed Asian guy, and be the best athlete in the world and dominate. But then you see someone like Donald Trump playing like 3 rounds of golf and you're like in a day, and you're just like, what? Like, this dude's like not athletic at all. And that's where golf is hard, because it's an acquired skill like painting or clay pottery.
No,
but
like billiards.
Yeah, but yeah,
like
billiards, darts.
But you have to have like hand-eye coordination, a lot of the same attributes that
you can get good at it if you have if you can get good at it if you have time and money and patience.
Or you could be like me, where you progressively get worse the more you play, to the point where you can't play anymore.
That's fair. I mean,
for my mental health.
Dude, fuck that. I mean, I was okay at golf. I sucked off the tee, but like my irons, my short game, my approach, I was clutch. And I'm really good at putting, but I sucked at driving because I was a baseball player for so long. I like roll my wrists. I do this weird shit when I swing where I'm always going to push or slice because I'm trying to like roll through it with my hips in a weird way. Like a natural golf swing feels very awkward to me. So that's like on some Tiger shit where he's so strong that he's just like whacking the shit out of the ball. So he has back problems. That's why he had all those issues as he got older, because of the torque he was putting on his body. But my dad, I mean...
And by torque, you mean like all the fentanyl that he got addicted to.
Yeah, but like my dad, who is now, up there in age...
Allegedly.
The guy who bought me from the baby store, who's a part of the group, he played collegiate golf. And my dad is an incredible golfer. Like, dude can't find his own ball because he's lost his peripheral vision with his degenerative eye disease. But the 2.0, shout out 2.0, we miss you, bud.
That's Joseph's nephew, who's also named.
He's named after me. He took my dad to go play golf, and he's like, I have to help him find the ball, line him up, and he's just like, he just hits money shots, like perfect. And so when I was like 15, 16 and I'd play golf with my dad, it would piss me off because I was a pretty good athlete. And my dad is at this point, I don't know, in his 60s and working me, bro. Just working me to where I was like, I don't ever want to play this fucking game again because I'm losing to this like 62-year-old man who's not half as strong as I am and just like crushing it. Perfectly straight shots, like these fades, these draws, like just crazy shots where I was just like, fuck, man, I've not put in enough time. And we see Donald Trump. I mean, I'm sure Donald Trump's a pretty good golfer. I know he lies and he cheats all the time.
No, I mean,
he's got to be good.
I'm just as baffled that he's good at anything, like as you are, like let alone like something that's like athletic, like regardless of how athletic you need to be or not. Like just the fact that he participates in a sport in general is weird. to me.
Yeah, I mean, they always say that's a good business. Like a lot of business deals happen
I
playing
know,
golf.
but he's not a good business person, bro.
I
Like,
know. Well, I'm sure he's just out there like lying his ass off. But I mean, if he's been bankrupt enough times for us to know that he's like played a lot of golf with people to trying to get them to invest in ideas that at some point went bankrupt. So like it kind of goes hand in hand. Like he would be good at golf. Like that's something that schmuck would be good at. You know.
I mean, I guess like I'm just my shit's distorted because like my two best friends out here in California are like golf like on the daily almost. Like one of them's got a golf vlog. I would go with them all the time, and I literally would get worse every time. Like there was a period of time where my dad took me on a business golf outing like with clients that he was trying to impress, and he had enough faith in my golf game to like bring me along, and I wouldn't embarrass him.
And you embarrass
Now,
them.
now it would not even embarrassing. It'd be like they might like call like social services. Like, why is this retarded person out here by himself without like like I'm telling you, it's like it's unbelievable how
Who's
like,
this man? Who's this boy's guide? Where's his handler?
I might not. I don't think I've played though in like 2 years. So that this is my theory was that I'm gonna take time off, and once enough time goes by, I'll forget whatever shit swing that I developed, and then I'll just be good again.
Yeah.
Well, I was never good, but I'll be competent. Like I was like you because I play baseball too, and when I was like 19, 20, I was ripping drives, but they were all slice as well. But like I would just like adjust. I would just aim like to the side.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. I'm like, I'm gonna look way
No
over
shot.
here.
Yeah.
Someone's like, "Don't you hit that at me?" And then like, "Whoa, great shot!"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Thanks."
That's what I mean. That's really what golf is. It's just like knowing like what your skills are,
Well,
and
my dad,
like
yeah,
like yeah, just playing like to your like abilities. Like
yeah.
not
And
yeah.
you drive for show, you putt for dough, as my dad would always say.
That is a big fact.
And he'd be like, "So quit trying to win it off the tee. You're never gonna win a hole off the tee. It's everything. You can get a good drive, but unless it's like a par three." He's like, "But you're not using your driver." He's like, "On a par three, you're probably not using your driver to get to the pin." He's like, "So you gotta work on that intermediate and short game." And I was always really good, like really good at chipping, really good at putting, super patient. But man, driving like drove me fucking insane. And I'd watch my dad just like work me, just like boom, boom. He'd get like a par four, he'd birdie it, and I'd be on like shot 8. And he'd be like trying not to laugh at me, and I'm like, "It's okay, you can laugh. Like I look good. I look good in golf clothes." So I was like, I look fresh out here. That's all I give a shit about. I actually made that joke to him the other day. I was like, as long as I look good on the golf course, I didn't care. And my dad was like, "No, that's totally true." He's like, "You were all about the look." I was like, "Yeah, for sure," because I was wanted to look fresh, but.
Yeah, I had this theory that like I could never be like upset when I'm golfing because I'm not like good enough to like have any expectations. But no, I got so bad that I like all of a sudden it was like making me like it was like affecting my like emotional well-being, and I'm like, okay, well now that's time to go.
Yeah, you go home and you're just like, "God, I suck," and everybody saw me suck, and they're
It
gonna
was
cry.
not even that. I don't care about that. It's just not even fun. Like I'm like missing the ball half the
Yeah,
time. Like,
bowling, billiards, cards, chess, golf. You don't want to fuck with my dad. My dad will beat. I think technically I still owe my dad like $1 million for losing in pool to him when I was like 9 years old. He brings it up. I'm good at chess because I would play against my dad, and I beat my dad in pool 2 years ago at Christmas. And he was like, "Hey, you finally beat me." I was like, "Dad, you're not allowed to drive anymore, like because you lost your peripheral vision. Like, no, like don't even try to make this count. It doesn't count."
that's so funny.
I never beat you when it mattered. When you were 100%, I never beat you. Like so it was still close. It was still very close because he's an engineer. So he's like, it's all angles and math and just equations. Like when you play with him, you're like, this fucking dude, because he sees it in a way that most people don't see it. He views it as like angles and stuff. So to him, it's just math, and that'll piss you off.
Was ping pong included there?
Never, my dad was in ping pong. You know, it's too much. I mean, I was good at ping pong because I would, we had a couple.
My dad. He plays left-handed.
Okay, there's a couple Asian people we went to school with who had ping pong tables. Not to even make it that way, but I used to get worked. I used to go over to this one kid's house that we mutually know, and they had a ping pong table, and him, his brother, his dad, his mom would like beat the shit out of us in ping pong, and they just had all these.
My grandma used to have her name was Betty. She would have Camp Betty and have the grandkids come over to her house like in the summer for like a few days, and she would like have us all compete in games. I don't even think I made it to Camp Betty, but my older cousins did. But they would have to play my grandma in ping pong. She beat the shit out of all of them, dude.
Man, you're just like, this is
like
bullshit.
80.
This is bullshit.
It's insane.
Yeah, I felt like I was playing basketball against Shaq, but no, I'm playing darts against a guy who's got to use eye drops every day or he's gonna go blind. Like I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm losing hard. And
Like, is your dad ruthless? Because my dad not only was a good ping pong player, but he's ruthless. He'd be like, "Yo, Andy, the ball's coming down and like under the table. You know, can you grab it?" And then I go look under the table. No, he had the ball. He serve it up and score on me.
No, see, my dad is like the methodical old school businessman, man of few words. So he's just like, like it was just like calculated. It was, I don't know, it would be like bumping into like a seasoned, like trying to escape a professional assassin and they just walk after you and you're running and they disappear. Like that would be like playing him in any of those classic old school, competitive sports or anything. Like I said, that's an acquired skill because he would just view it completely different. Like I'm like, okay, I got to do this.
You should hit him with an AI chess player and see if and destroy all of his.
Nah, he's all about puzzles now, man. Like for Christmas, he was like, I want puzzles. I bought him because I got him a Lego, like a big Lego lighthouse that's massive for Christmas one year, and he just spent like 2 months like trying to put it together, and it was difficult. It was actually really hard, and he was super pissed off. He was like, I'm on step like 325, and I keep messing these things up. And then this year he's like, I just want puzzles. I want like 1,000-piece puzzle, 500-piece puzzle. I brought my dad like 30 puzzles, and he was like, all right, this is too many puzzles. I was like, and he's got like most of them put together. He's like, oh, I finished that clear 2,500 piece puzzle that you gave me upside down. I'm like, well, it's clear, so you don't have to put it upside down, but just please continue to show off, dude. Like I was angry looking at the box when I bought it for you. So and he's like, oh yeah, it was easy.
My mom and her 6 sisters share puzzles, so they'll do the puzzle and then send it to a sister to complete as well.
It's some boomer shit for sure.
Yeah.
Now I'd be like, why the fuck did you mail me a puzzle, dude? You laughing at me? You laughing at me, dude? You know a puzzle killed my parents. Who do you think you are? How are you, sir? How have you been?
Good. I went and played poker on Monday, like I told you I would.
Okay.
Only played for 2 hours before I had to go pick up my dog, but cashed out. I bought in 100, cashed out 146, I think.
Okay.
But some fun times at the table. This old guy just sat down. He's like on the opposite side of the table as me, and I forget like what the conversation was. But then I just hear the old guy just goes, I mean, he's like, do I look old? And I was like going to say, yeah, you look old, but like in like the split seconds in my head, I'm like, oh, am I really gonna like tell this guy he looks old? I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna do it, I have to be like super harsh, hardcore about it. And I was like, dude, you look fucking old. I was like, do you look old? You look fucking old. And like everybody at the table starts fucking laughing. Like, and I don't think his old ass even heard me.
Yeah, he's like, huh?
That was fun.
What? Who told what? You're like, no, shut up, Gary. It's your turn. You're Annie. Like, you're big blind. What are you doing?
But it was kind of crazy. So at this particular table, the maximum amount you can buy in at one time is $100. And let's say you had like 70, like you had $100, now you have 70. You can buy 30 more chips to add, but you can only add up to 100. Now,
okay.
if you win chips, obviously you can have more than 100. You can't buy more than. I sit down. The guy, I'm sitting like facing the dealer. There's three people that face the dealer. I'm on the left side, and then the guy sitting right next to the dealer facing me has $600 in chips when I hit down. And he started with 100. Like an hour goes by, and I don't know how it happened, but I looked over and he had like $1,000. I'm like, how did you just get $400 more? I haven't even been in a hand with you. Like how did that even fucking happen? Um, so that was impressive. I'm not sure if I've ever seen somebody stack at like 10x at that table like that.
Mm.
And he was like casual about it.
He's like, oh
I've never seen him before. He's like younger than me and like just like a Filipino kid. And he's just like eating. He's just like gingerly stacking his hundreds and hundreds of chips. Um, but I got his ass. No, not him. I got this other guy. This guy bet pre-flop. I went all in with pocket queens, and I had more chips than him. And he called with pocket eights. So before the dealer starts to deal the cards, him and I are the only one in the hand. So heads up. So I flip my pocket queens over, and I'm like, everybody, it's ladies' night. And then the dealer starts dealing the cards. As soon as the first card comes out, it's an 8. As soon as that happens, the other guy flips his hand over. He's got pocket 8s. So he's got now trips.
yeah.
But guess what, bitch? I declared it was ladies' night. Boom, queen on the river. Took all his money.
Twisted Sisters.
So I win. And then it's my boy Dasman, who's the dealer. And so that guy gets bounced. He leaves the table, and I'm like collecting the chips, and I go, that's exactly how I like it, Daz, because it's not good enough for me to win. I need you to crush his fucking dreams, and then I win. Like, give him just a little false sense of hope. Oh, you sucked out, and your pocket eights are gonna beat the pocket queens? Nah, just kidding.
Yeah, it's like it's a John Gruden quote from when they were on Hard Knocks, like the first episode of Hard Knocks. You should look it up. But he talks about dreams and nightmares. And he's like, oh, we're going to take the pads off. And And he's like, look, everybody's got a dream. I got a dream of being in the NFL. I got a dream of winning the Super Bowl. I'm not into dreams, all right? I'm into fucking nightmares. You need to crush somebody's dream. You need to crush somebody's will. He's like, you feel me? That's what this football shit is. It's such a good quote, which is like so applicable in like business or whatever you're doing, where he's just like, I'm not into dreams. I don't buy into dreams anymore. I'm into fucking nightmares. I'm into crushing somebody's dream. And you're just
that's like I'm no longer hungry. Now I'm just fucking greedy.
Yeah, I'm being gluttonous. I'm not hungry. I'm gluttonous.
Yeah. So then, and then I was playing some online poker, too. I've been on a pretty good run. Today I have like a 30-minute commute from one customer's house to another customer's house at some point in the day today. I had to go from Topanga Canyon to West Hills. So these sit and goes online, they generally go 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like very rarely longer than 30 minutes, but usually it's like right around 30 minutes. It's just how the blinds are structured because they keep going up in this sit and go. There's 8 people at the table, so I have 30 minutes to kill. Now I guess you could say, Andy, are you playing poker while driving? Okay, that's fine.
It's not fine.
No, I know, but okay, like
it's a concerning question.
Hey, fair criticism, but this shit didn't take 30 minutes, dude. I took out all 7 players personally. Took out all 7 other players in 15 minutes and won.
Damn.
And the whole table had turned on because my avatar is giving us CPL. That's my fucking profile avatar at the table. And people just fucking like. And then when I start winning, like people just turn on me, dude. And like the whole table, this guy was like, fucking just got a bingo player over here. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means, dude. He goes, it means you're an asshole. And I go, don't make me doge you, bro. I'll doge you. Like, I'm talking about doging people's moms at the table now. Like, I'm just like leaning into it. Like, I was like, Because I like remember I used to have Marjorie Taylor Greene and then
Yeah.
also George Santos as my avatar.
George Santos. Shout
So I
out.
was trying to think of like
Shout
what,
out. Shout out George Santos.
right, like what's another? And those were great. I don't know like why they like one day like my Marjorie Taylor Greene was just gone, and then I just had like some like stock like avatar cartoon shit that they have.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of like what's the next iteration of my George Santos, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like right wing MAGA troll that I could put as the avatar, and just naturally it was like Elon. But now I'm looking at Elon giving a Nazi salute every time I'm playing poker.
You should do like Stephen Miller or something.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
just like a blank face and just make that could be
like
good.
people don't get it. Like when I had George Santos, somebody just was like, this motherfucker got George Santos as his picture. just couldn't believe it.
Hit me up on Cameo.
Yeah, but then so I made it, and it's weird because I could play I can access the online poker on my phone or on my laptop.
Yeah.
But they're two different clients that run it. So the one on the laptop, you're able to do certain things that you can't do on the phone, and I don't know why. But one of them is change your avatar. So I'm generally playing on my phone, which you can't change the avatar on. So every time I log into I'm like, oh fuck, it's still Elon. And then so I'm trying to think of a new one to replace it. But I was just I was pretty bummed about the Elon still always being on there. And now I'm just leaning into it, dude.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Or
But I mean,
you could do like a Marco Rubio picture whenever he was fumbling that water and taking a weird sip, and then be like, "Ooh man, all this wind is making me thirsty."
well, I want it to be relevant, contemporary.
Well, Rubio's relevant. He's Secretary of something.
Is he Secretary of State? Because it seems like Trump's butt boy, the envoy to the Middle East, and also the envoy to Russia. It's like a Florida real estate dude. I forget his fucking name. I was actually giving him credit on our pod. I was like, he seems to be
Yeah, I remember you saying that. You were saying that. Yeah.
Nah, dude. Nah.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I've been doing good. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen. My birthday was last Monday. Old as fuck. Then I had some personal stuff go on. I had to go to Austin. Lost somebody that was really close to me, and two people that are really close to me that were married. Lost one of them. I'm not going to get too deep into it just because I'll get upset, but it's been a rough couple of days. That's why I wanted to push it back today. Yesterday's probably the most normal I've felt, and today's been a pretty good day. We talked about it off air, but hug your loved ones. Let people know how you feel about them. Stupid petty beefs aren't worth it. That's all I'm really going to say about it. But I had a very life-changing experience over the weekend, to the point where I closed on my fucking house yesterday. I am now a homeowner. I got a fucking house. Super stoked about it, but it kind of tamped out the fire and kind of changed my perspective on even purchasing a house. It's been a pretty crazy couple of days. Some of the most extreme highs I've ever had, purchasing your first house, and then some of the lowest lows I've ever had, all within my birthday week. So that's awesome. But definitely life-changing experience. I'll make sure it's for the better. But staying busy at work. I'm doing good. So don't worry, listeners. I'm fine. But interesting week. And now, just kind of chugging through and getting back into the swing of it. So I was actually really excited to do the episode today, just because it's back to a sense of normalcy. I mean, I worked all weekend, got off work at 3 in the afternoon, drove through a rainstorm from Dallas to Austin pretty much immediately on zero sleep, got zero sleep, hospital all day Sunday, very little sleep. It's been a crazy couple of days, but I'm doing good. Like I said, I bought a fucking house. So here in about the next month and a half, my setup, I will have a big full-blown kind of studio room. Gonna bust out my big camera. I'm pretty excited. So the setup's gonna change a little bit, which is gonna be cool. And we got more projects on the way, so I'm actually really excited about that too. So, other than that, doing good. And go Eagles. Did you know the Philadelphia Eagles have 20 picks in the next 2 drafts, all within the first 4 rounds in the next 2 years?
What the fuck?
They have 20 picks. 20.
An average of.
They have 8 this year, but
So they should have 8 total in 2 years, but they have 20.
Well, because they lost. So, Philadelphia Eagles fans, people who don't care, there's the NFL draft. They lost a bunch of people to free agency. Normally, when you lose somebody to free agency, you get a compensatory pick back. They lost a lot of people. I think they have like 8 picks. They have 11 picks in the first 4 rounds next year. Next year, they have 11 draft picks in the first 4 rounds. This year, they have 8, and none of them are past the 5th round. They don't have any picks in the 6th or 7th.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's not like the Eagles have a history of drafting well. Oh wait, no. What's up, Cooper DeJean? What's up, baby boy?
So we'll see what happens, but you know, lots of good, lots of bad, but it all, you know, life balances itself out whether you'd like it to or not. Then you just kind of gotta be ready for it. But you ready for these therapy questions? I got 5 of them, 2 with articles. All right. Therapy question number 1. Let me pull up this article. We're going to go to the big one. This is brought to us by the AP, because the AP is not trash, so go fuck yourselves. My grandpa worked for the Associated Press for 52 years and was the lead political correspondent for the Reagan campaign. So when people sit there and talk shit, and I'm not even pro-Reagan, I've talked about this on the podcast.
Has a single person ever talked shit about the Associated Press in the history of the Associated Press until Trump?
No.
It's not even like a company. It's like a consortium of reporters.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Well, yesterday we got to see the ever so wonderful Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Yeah, Elon Musk definitely looks taller in that picture. At the White House, purchasing Teslas. So therapy question number 1, should the president be allowed to sell cars while in office? What level of, how unethical do you actually think this is? Because some people are spinning on it. Some people don't think it's a big deal at all. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it was inevitable that we were always going to get to this place where Trump, he is a used car salesman. And now here we are. Here he is.
Yeah, I mean, he had all of the different models out with price sheets.
Out on the lot, baby. With a price sheet. What a dipshit. Like, oh yeah, and you know what he said when he got in the Tesla? It's all computers in here.
It's all computers. Well, so I'll read some of this article from Bernard Condon. Donald Trump's support for Elon Musk's car company could end up hurting it because since this, the prices drop, like the stock has continued to fall. Tesla investors cheered Tuesday as Trump came to the defense of Musk boycotted car maker by lavishing the Tesla CEO with praise in a press conference as 5 Teslas lined up in the White House driveway. Trump called Musk a patriot and announced that he bought one of his cars, a show of support that may have helped the Tesla stock rise higher for the day after a plunge the day earlier. But experts warn that the unusual presidential backing of a private company could backfire. Tesla is becoming a political symbol of Trump and Doge, and that is a bad thing for the brand, said Wedbush Securities financial analyst Dan Ives, referring to the advisory group in charge of cutting government spending led by Musk. You think it's helping, but it's actually hurting, which I would agree. I mean, this is completely unethical, something that's completely unheard of. Now, you know, his first presidency, he was letting people stay in his hotels, charging.
No, not letting him.
Well, he was letting them and charging them. So he was charging people. Apparently, right now he's charging people like $5 million to have dinner with him, doing all this grifting shit. This is like the peak of presidential grift, in my opinion. Like, no president should ever be endorsing any private brand like that. And I mean, it's unheard of. And like this, like in the White House front lawn, trying to convince people to buy it. Like, that's crazy to me.
I mean, a president can be a champion for like American companies. Like, that's not that crazy. But like, first of all, one of the first things he said at like the State of the Union, not called the State of the Union, whatever the fuck speech that he gave, was like giant standing applause line. Like, we ended the mandate on EV cars. Like, you know, it's like he was like shitting all over electric vehicles, and like Elon's in the crowd. So that's weird to me in general. Like that's not the first. Like he's been saying that. Like
I mean,
uh,
yeah, it's more
what was
obvious
okay?
than
Hold on,
ever.
hold on. Look, let's just get back to the stuff. What do you think the point of whatever the fuck? Because I actually didn't even really watch it. I've only like read articles about it. But do you really think that like Elon is panicking about how the sales have plummeted in Europe and there's fucking riot or not riots, the protests at Tesla factories and shit? And so he's panicking and he needs to hawk more Teslas. So that's what they were actually trying to do. Like, or
100% tariff. I mean, to me, it's more obvious than ever that this dude owes him. Like, I mean, he pumped what $240 million into the political campaign.
he is the largest political donor in the history of the country.
Yeah, he loves that. He loves to be able to say that, whether it's for a good or a bad cause. I mean, I think he is freaking out because without government funding, a lot of his companies wouldn't exist at this point. And if he's not being subsidized by the taxpayers and subsidized by the fucking swamp and all these people, propping him up, I don't think that some of his companies wouldn't exist. I mean, SpaceX doesn't exist without us, without our tax dollars. I mean, Starship blew up the other day, and he's got like what 40% success rate in launching that shit, and they'll spin it and be like, well, he's always pushing the limits to see what's possible, and then they make adjustments. Like, no, dude, this guy's setting our tax money on fire in the sky and like causing debris fields. I mean, yeah, I think he's freaking the fuck out. 100% tariff. They're talking in Canada, 100% tariffs on Teslas coming into Canada. Like, there's no factory up there. Like, I'm not shocked because this is Donald Trump doing his part. I think he's almost beholden to Elon Musk when it comes to this shit because he took so much of his money. It's definitely a quid pro quo. Like, quid pro quo. We're watching it happen in real life, in real time, selling Teslas on the White House fucking back lawn driveway. That is the craziest shit I've ever heard. No Nissans. Come on, bro. Where the Frontier's at? And where the Sentra is? Where my Altima?
Nissan.
I'm just saying.
At least pick an American car. Like, I agree. I was thinking about this too. Like, it's like no previous president would even think about something like this. Like, because you know what's like, in my opinion, maybe other people have a different opinion. You know what's better than being the richest person in the world? It's being the fucking president of the United States. If you want to talk about,
seem like it.
Well, for me it would be because you're going down in history, dude. You're in charge of you're the most powerful person on earth. You could literally do whatever you want, go talk to whoever you want, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. A lot of good you could do for a lot of people.
I mean, Trump's got a billionaire boner for Elon Musk because he's like, dang, man, this guy's figured out how to get the government to pay for all of his shit.
I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, right, if you're Donald Trump, you're sitting there and you're like, wow, we give this guy how much money in government funding to do these projects. He doesn't have to really pay a dime to do any of this shit. That's incredible. That's the ultimate grift. How do I do that? I'm telling you, he's got a billionaire boner. He is envious as fuck of Elon Musk. And because Elon Musk...
I agree. I agree with that because Trump is like has an addiction to money
and power.
And so does Elon. And they're both trying to fill like some fucking hole in their heart. Did you hear that Elon? The reason why he has 13 kids, most of them through IVF, is because he
14
had
now. I think it's 14.
14 kids because he had a botched cosmetic surgery and he can't come.
I didn't know that.
This is what I heard, dude. He can't get hard or something like he physically is unable to impregnate a woman with his dick. So he has to do it through IVF. That, like, as disturbing or weird as that is, it does make sense because I thought it was fucking weird that he had random chicks IVF like kids like IVF's like for like family planning with like your spouse, not like your fucking subordinate over at Neuralink to like pop out two twins like the same week that your other chick from SpaceX is popping out a kid. Like so.
I don't know. I feel like Grimes would be like, his dick don't work. I think if that's the case, we would know.
Well, we do know. I just said it.
But do we know that's factual or is it allegedly?
I mean, it's an allegedly right now because I haven't taken the time to verify. Like, I haven't even like Googled it. Or I was just told this. And
It's possible. I mean, he's...
like, it weirdly makes more sense than I'm going to just for no reason at all have women impregnate themselves through IVF with my sperm and have kids that I'm never gonna talk to or be around because I've got this one dipshit kid that I bring to the White House that talks shit to Donald Trump, and the first time I've ever seen Donald Trump like baffled on what to do.
That kid's a little shit. He's not
That was
even a kid.
insanity.
So
And what
I
is-
want you to stop talking.
Yeah, stop talking. You are not the real president. Like, what is Musk telling this fucking kid? Like, Musk is like just like in a ketamine hole, like talking to his kid. Like, I'm the real president.
He's like,
What if Musk really thinks like like he should be? Like, you know what I'm saying? Dude? Like, the amount of like psychosis that's going on between those two fucking idiots and like, it just
But selling cars in front of the president shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's huge conflict of interest. Trying to convince people.
How about this? Somebody that is willing to do that should never be elected by the people.
On God.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, how the fuck did we elect somebody who's more concerned about selling Teslas so that he could maybe get some more money, like incrementally? It's like, how much money do you need? You're selling fucking sneakers for $200, but if you get the gold ones, they're $300.
The Trump watch, rose gold.
Trump Bible. Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, Trump trading cards.
Digital trading cards,
Yeah.
not even physical trading cards.
We sold out last time. We've got more coming. Me doing lots. We have more cards coming, unlike Elon Musk. We won't artificially plant them inside your room. They're coming in the mail. Yeah, this is like peak grift. It's not.
I think the Trump meme coin is peak grift.
Well, the Trump, yeah, but he was.
Trump universities. I mean, dude, this guy has like got bangers when it comes to grifting. Like,
Oh.
he's got like legendary grift.
He's on some.
multiple.
He is like on some 5 points, Gangs of New York, Boss Tweed type shit. Like, I couldn't think of anybody. It'd be hard pressed to find somebody that is open and honestly more corrupt than this dude.
100%.
And like shatters these norms, or what we just got put on the list of like decline in social liberties, where we're like on like a watch list, like an international watch list, where we're on a list of like countries that are teetering on like just like repealing everyone's rights, all this goofy shit. But he's out, this motherfucker out here selling cars. Motherfuckers out here selling cars. I'm gonna buy one from Elon.
So that the richest man in the world
can
somebody
make more money.
Who's made more money than anybody who ever fucking lived.
Allegedly.
Needs more money.
Because I think the richest.
At what point do we have an intervention and say, you don't need more money, dude?
The richest man in history was actually a black guy.
Who the fuck told you that, dude? No, man. No.
No, I'm telling you, dude. Masa Musa, 14th century, richest person is the Masa Musa was the richest person in the history of the world.
How much would it be right now?
And that's via AI. Masa Musa's wealth for the equivalent of hundreds of billions of dollars or even trillions. Because
hundreds of billions. That's what Elon has.
The Mali Empire had a vast. Hold on.
Rockefeller would be a trillionaire.
But this is the 14th century, so the Mali Empire held a vast amount of gold, and Masa Musa controlled key trading routes, which were essential to the trade network. He basically had a stranglehold on gold, spices, salt, like all of these things in the 14th century. Like, Masa Musa was like a trillionaire, basically. Would be considered beyond a multi-trillionaire at this point, because he was basically like a billionaire in wealth with the amount of stuff that they had accumulated. And that's AI telling you that. It's like, who's the richest person ever? Not even close. He's not even close. Because if you did it for inflation, like, that dude would completely.
That's because, bro. Who do you think makes the AI? They're not gonna let you know who actually is the richest.
If you think AI is gonna prop up an African black emperor and be like, "Oh, this black dude was the richest
dude,
guy ever"? No.
Yeah, because our tech edgelords don't want to get capped in the middle of the street like a fucking CEO for United Health. I'm not the richest person. It's this black guy. It's DEI. DEI is the richest person.
Yeah, there's DEI in the 14th century. I knew it. I knew it. That leopard skin wearing son of a bitch. Where is he?
But I think you would have to be like adjusted for inflation and have to have been a trillionaire to be the richest, because I think Rockefeller would have been a trillionaire, and I heard that like 10 years ago. So
well, you would make a case, and that's not to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but if you were going to pick a family to be the richest family ever, Rockefeller would be good. Rothschild, I fall more into the Rothschild idea, because I mean at one point one of the sons was in charge of the Bank of England, the Bank of France, the Bank of Italy. Like they were dispersed throughout Europe, where they were like the Rothschilds, the whole thing of like, like the whole anti-Semitic tropes about people amassing wealth. Amassing wealth to that extent stems from the Rothschilds. Like there would be times where the Prince of England would want to build a castle and he didn't have money, so they would loan the Rothschilds would loan them money, and then they would basically, whenever that dude became king, it was just like cash cow. So they would like loan money to kingdoms. They had so much money that they would loan it to people, finance wars on both sides. That's where that all stems from. So
that's not doing shit.
No, I'm just saying. And then so the Rockefellers are a subset of that, just like JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan worked for the Rothschilds, and whenever they gave him the money to start his own adventure. So the JP Morgan Chase family.
No, get the Chase. No, Chase has nothing to do with it. Chase bought JP Morgan.
Sorry. So JP Morgan was propped up financially by the Rothschild family, which is like factual. Like he got the money to get started with JP Morgan from the Rothschilds. He used to work for him, and they loaned it to that motherfucker. Like that's why there's that anti-Semitic trope that kind of stems around them. They used to, and I don't mean it that way, but they would say that they were like the king of the Jews, because they had so much money and they loaned everybody everything. Like I'm telling you, Rockefeller probably took a loan from these guys, and you don't see them. They don't know what their estimated worth is as a whole, but they say it's close to the trillions in that realm as a family wealth, somewhere in the ballpark of $750 billion to $1 trillion. Like to this day, and they're still operating, and you don't see them. You know, gangsters move in silence like lasagna. So that, and they've been doing it for centuries, like since the 1400s, 1500s. They've been paying for everybody's shit, and they would just be like, you owe me, Bank of France. And they were in charge of financial institutions. He would send his kids off to different spots, and they would just be like, that's how that whole anti-Semitic trope even started, is because they had amassed a fuck ton of wealth. That's not how it started. Oh, in regards to that family, in regards to
but Jewish people and money and banking, that started like literally thousands of years ago.
And they've been doing it for thousands of years. That's what I'm saying, is like they've been doing it for so long that's where they were richer than kingdoms. They had more money than kingdoms back then. And that's not like a conspiracy. That's just true.
Okay.
It's like documented. I'll send you. It's not a crazy conspiracy theory document.
No, I know, but I'm just.
It's saying, like a history of their family, and you see when it starts and how much it grows. You're like, dude, that's fucking wild. Like those dudes were banking, hustling, like making fucking money hand over fist, and it was generational. So then they would have a son, and they'd send their son here, or they'd send their son there, where you would have like a family of 30 people, and they're all running major financial institutions, loaning like literal kings and czars, princes, the royal family. Like they have more money than the royal family, and the royal family is the wealthiest real estate owners in the entire world. And some of that real estate was purchased and financed through Rothschild money, because they didn't have it to purchase it, so they borrowed it, and they're like, we're good for it with interest. Crazy. Anyways, therapy question number 2.
Oh, real quick, I was gonna say, like there's speculation that Vladimir Putin is the richest person in the world right now and has $1 trillion.
It's
But
possible.
that was before the full scale invasion.
I mean, you know,
Like, bro, if you have $1 trillion, but you're saying you don't have enough like troops that where you're bringing in North fucking Koreans, some of your money, dude, for the war that you wanted.
well, yeah, he can't say that he has all of this wealth because if he did, that'd be a bad thing. He's top 10. Like the some of the richest people in the world, like we don't know who the fuck they are. They're construction oligarchs. No, I'm serious. They're like Russian construction oligarchs. Like the guy who bought the Nets. That dude was
Prokhorov. Okay, but we know who he is.
Yeah, I know exactly. But nobody
Okay,
knew who the.
I thought you were gonna say like it's like
because he bought the Nets. That's why we know who the fuck he is. Not because he wanted to buy an American basketball team. Not.
Okay, but I thought you were gonna make like an argument where it's like like everybody's like like there's this like shadowy figures that run the world. Like somebody's telling like the Biden or Trump like what did I'm like who are these people like like eventually somebody has to make the decisions. And like it's weird that you think it's somebody that like we have no idea who it is, and I thought that's what you were.
No, and like this is AI, according.
Why do you?
I'm just pulling it up.
AI. Why do you
I'm just. This is just what it says.
Motherfucker hallucinates without even drugs.
Because there's various estimates that the Rothschild family's combined net worth is believed to be. This is going to sound ludicrous, 15.7 trillion. Although some conservative estimates place it around $1 billion. However, it's important to note that the exact figures are difficult to verify due to the family's private nature, diverse business holding across multiple branches. That's what I'm saying. Nobody knows how much money they have.
That's a range off by a factor of 15,000.
Yeah, hey man. Potato.
Billion or 15 trillion. I don't know. What's the difference, right, guys?
But no one knows. That's the whole thing. That's like, dang, how rich do you think that guy is across the street with the castle with the dragon and a moat? You'd be like, I don't know, $1 billion. So like, I heard it's $1 trillion. It's all rumors. It's all speculation because nobody actually knows. Nobody actually knows. Like how much Elon Musk is worth because he'll fucking tell you. There's people that probably have just as much money combined as him.
No, that logic doesn't work. That logic because Trump will tell you how much he's worth, but it's not true.
Well, yeah, but we can actually kind of track it. I mean, we get to see where our taxes go to
that's because
Elon.
a third of Elon's wealth is Tesla stock, so we can literally track it by the minute.
Yeah.
And then
government funding, all sorts of goofy shit.
Well, yeah.
Therapy question number 2. That was a good one. Good therapy conversation. Therapy question number 2. If you had to lose a body part to stay alive, what would it be and why? You gotta lose it and you get to live. What would you lose? It can't be like, what? Your what?
I think I'm saying this right. My uvula.
Well, okay. Let's say appendage, like arms,
appendage,
a foot,
you only have
an
4.
ear, a nose, something physical. Not. I mean that's visible.
Is your uvula the thing that hangs in the back of your throat?
No, no. Get out of here. That doesn't count.
That's what I was. That's not the word I was trying to.
That's not dramatic enough.
Okay. What would I do? Oh, I know. My right elbow. I'd be bumping that shit and fucking like my entire
from the
arm
elbow,
goes
your forearm, you would just lose. Because if you lose your elbow, it's not like you're just gonna glue it on. And you're just gonna have some like stump. My funny bone. I'd take my left hand. That's not my dominant hand. I don't write with it.
But how are you gonna jerk off and make it feel like somebody else is doing?
I'll just get one of those robot hands. Then it'll be like I'm like an ex machina. And
no, you just sit on your hand until you sit on until it falls asleep, and then you do it.
Left hand. I'd lose my left hand or my left foot. Chop it off. It's not my dominant foot. It's not my dominant hand.
Well, you being an African American, you probably lose your left foot anyways from the diabetes.
Yeah, we're winning that battle one day at a time, though. We're holding out. But yeah, it'd have to be either my left hand or my left foot, or left hand, right foot, because my right foot is my dominant leg. Like when I cycle, if I strap in on my feet, I strap in my right foot, so I have to stop. I have to push off with my non-dominant foot to try to force myself to use my left foot more. So I might just cut off my right foot, get good with my left foot, figure shit out. but it'd definitely be like that. I wouldn't lose an ear. I'm keeping my nose, no matter how big it is. I'm not taking. I'm not. Yeah, I can't. Like, I'm not losing a whole leg. It'd be a foot or a hand. Probably my left hand.
I'd almost rather lose like an eye than a fucking hand or a foot, dude.
Be like Dan Crenshaw out here with your eye patch. That'd be kind of tight. That would be a bold statement, and you would be able to like make shit up on why you lost your eye.
You can't see as well, but like you're not really hindered from doing day-to-day activities. Like losing a hand or a foot, like
have you not seen those like AI mechanical hands that like
I've
you can
seen
use? And I've shook a dude's hands with those. It was the craziest shit ever, and he could do all sorts of stuff with it. Like that, I would take a robot hand for sure. I mean,
I heard this like little girl who had a prosthetic arm like that like robotic, like she could move and she said that like at school she'll like grab like her friend's hand with it, and then like won't let it go, and like so that she's like trapping her. I'm like, that is fucking terrifying. Like, you trap me with your robot arm, like this little 6-year-old. Like, fuck that, dude.
well, and see, I'm not pro Neuralink because I think that's dumb. I had this discussion, I think, in a work.
I'm pro Neuralink for other people. Like, I would never do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to do it and it helps like somebody like who's a paraplegic, fuck yeah.
I think I was in a meeting at work, like with like ownership and everybody, and they were talking something about chips and brains or. What was it? Oh no! I was hanging out watching the news over the weekend with friends, family, and people while we were going through this, and they're talking about how there's a new brain implant that will help cure depression. And I was sitting there like, just fucking talk to somebody. Like, is that we're so far removed from discussing our issues that I need to get 2 rods put in my head to help me balance out to not feel depressed. You should just like reach out and talk to somebody. But if they were like, hey, we'll cut your legs off, knee down, give you some robot legs and you'll be faster, like I would take some sort of body augmentation, like crazy arms or robot legs or something like that, or like a robotic wing that came out of my back so I could fly. I'd be cool with that, but I don't want you putting shit in my brain. Right? I mean...
Yeah, especially a company that Elon's in charge of.
Yeah. Oh, I think how many... people...
When did everybody start trusting billionaires, dude?
I don't know.
They wanted to drain the swamp.
But who's more trustworthy, Trump or Elon? That's the real question.
No, that is a trick question. Dude.
But people, because Elon has more money,
the answer is we're fucked.
They intrinsically trust him more. Either they really trust you or they don't trust you at all. There's no gray area. When you have that much money, when you reach into the billions, they either trust you way too much or they don't fucking trust you at all. There's no, and be like, oh,
I know. When we should all just be like, if you just replace money with like a substance or anything like that Elon was this obsessed about, we'd all be like, why the fuck is his family not had an intervention and got him help like in rehab? Like, but because it's money, which we're all like, we celebrate and we all need and like and seek, like we all like are blind to the fact that we're like watching like a hardcore addict like destroy himself and the country to get his fix of getting more money, and it's like irrational. It's damaging his personal life.
It's going to be interesting.
He keeps doing it despite negative consequences.
It's going to be interesting to see where this goes long term. And no, I mean, like in how history views what's going on right now, it's going to be interesting to see because we'll be alive to see it. So we'll get to see in, like 30, 40 years looking back if like we all still exist and they haven't blown the fucking world up. Like when we're my dad's age, we'll be like, oh, I remember that schmuck. I remember that crazy shit that ass had.
If we still have like actual history books that are legit, not like propaganda.
True. So we'll remember.
Slaves like learned a lot of like really useful skills. Like people don't say that enough.
They could have left whenever they wanted.
But not really.
No, really. I mean, even when they were free, we would like check them for their...
whip them and fucking kill them. But like, whatever.
I love that. Yeah, you guys, whenever I talk about, they're like, no, like I was having an argument with someone about the slaves being freed, and then like indentured servitude that took place after that. And it was like they were like, oh well, yeah, you guys can go if you want. I mean, good luck out there. You can't read, write, you don't know what's going on, or you could just stay here and like we'll feed you a little bit better, and you can still live in the little shack you lived in before, and we'll just we'll hook
That's
you
like
up.
Stockholm syndrome should have shit too.
And that's what they did. That's totally what they
like,
did.
Your boys out in Texas, like I forget how long it was after the Emancipation Proclamation and all the slaves were freed by Abraham Lincoln. They were still slaving out in Texas because
Yeah.
nobody fucking told them.
That's why Juneteenth is a holiday, because
Right,
that's
it
when
was the
the
day that
last group of black people were free.
Found
Texas
out
was
that
like,
they were free.
like let them go, just let them have it. You're free. God damn it.
No, they were like,
But you can still work here if you want. We'll pay you in food. Like that's literally the same shit that you were doing before. Yeah, just a little bit more, but you can get seconds. We'll let you get seconds.
I mean, like this is like a random turn, but like I listened to this podcast called American History Hit, and they pick like a topic in American history and like talk about it each episode, and I forget what the topic was, but they were talking about how like the South used to talk shit about the North because they had like 3-year-olds working in factories for 18 hours a day, and they treated like all their labor like shit, and like it was just like awful working conditions, and they're like, we give our fucking slaves like a fucking house. They get to like hang out with their family. Like,
Babe, at least we let them sleep on straw. Like, come on,
Yeah,
you guys.
like,
What are we talking about here? Who's the bad guys?
Can you imagine, dude?
So we separated a couple families. BFD.
You got a fucking plantation and of slaves, the slaves working there, and you're going out in public telling people how it's better than what they're doing. Those Yankees are doing.
It's better than those 9-year-olds working in Pittsburgh forging steel. At least we talk to them more. We still whip them, but we talk to them a little bit more before we explain why. But that's just the punishment of the property that they work on. Shit, did I say that? Shit.
Yeah.
Therapy question number 3. Should we move towards a more automated society, less human labor, or is human labor and production more important in the grand scheme of things?
I mean, there's like humans need a purpose, and I think a lot of people find their purpose in their occupation.
Oh God.
And like we're hardwired to be productive to society, but whether that means that being productive needs to be a like typical job, I don't know. I think we will move to a place where you don't have to work if you don't want to.
I think it's depending on what.
We're gonna have abundance with AI, dude. Like,
I mean,
if applied correctly.
I mean, I feel like while AI is cool, it's also kind of like some Ask Jeeves, Google, fucking Yahoo.
I don't ever use it to Google like you've been doing on the podcast.
No, I just Google it. It always pops up first. It'll tell you what the Google AI is compiling from all the facts, and then it goes from there.
That's what it is.
So it's scraping on AI. I'm on Google looking it up, and it'll give you a summary. So that's where. But then you can go underneath and find more facts and details and see where it pulls the information from. But I think it's important that human labor and human production. I think it is more important, just like you said, for people to have a purpose, for people to work towards something and attain something. Like what we're trying to do with AI, while cool, innovative, it's going to be a great tool for us to use. I think that we're teetering on using it to replace people not having shit to do and not having to work if they don't want to is more dangerous than people having to work.
That's not true, and that's not what it would be. So basically, it would be like I'd like to be a teacher, but they get paid like shit, so I'm not going to do that. Well, now, if we had like universal basic income, people can go be a teacher and not have to worry about whether they can pay their bills. They could be caretakers. They can be artists. You know, it's like I want to pursue my like music career, but it's fucking risky, and you don't make any money unless you get a lot of breaks. Well, guess what? If I have universal basic income, we don't really need to like have jobs like we do today. I can go pursue that. So it's like it's not like everybody's like gonna be sitting around like, what do I do now? It's like there's thousands of things that you could do if you.
But if we continue on that path, won't those things just replace what people are doing? Because then it'll be, oh, I want to do art, universal basic income. Someone will just be using AI to make their art, and then people won't even want.
That's not true. I guess we don't know if that would happen or not. But my theory on this, because I've thought about it, is that in the future, human-made art, whether it's music, painting,
will be more
TV,
valuable.
100%, a premium on it, especially also human caretakers. There's gonna be when it comes to dealing with humans, because people are gonna be like so like over AI, or AI is gonna become so ubiquitous. It's like okay, well, I want the real deal,
So human.
This song was created by a fucking human.
Human stuff will be like the Wagyu beef, while AI stuff will be the, stew beef squares you can get for $3 at the Heb at HEB, right? So I can see what you're saying. It's just a slippery slope.
AI's Walmart, humans are Tiffany's.
I don't trust large corporations using it and not trying to just replace everybody. And if we're
They're already doing it.
Well, I know, but so if we're gonna have some sort of universal income and they're gonna be using AI and they're gonna be increasing their profits, that money for this universal basic income is gonna come from them paying more in taxes, because they're not gonna have employees. They're not gonna have to pay anybody to do anything. So if they're not paying anybody, then where's this money that these artists are gonna get to where they can just do whatever they want and pursue their dreams and not worry about finances? I don't trust the capitalistic system the free market to not just.
The free market has nothing to do with it. The universal basic income is funded through taxing the public, and if people aren't working, so it's not an income tax. You're taxing these corporations. But the thing is in this scenario, the reason why people aren't working is because technology has made things so efficient that it drives down costs. That's why inflation doesn't spiral out of control as GDP, because we have growth, right? We create wealth, and that means more money. And so it's if there's more money in the supply, that means inflation, right? Unless something else happens. Well, the reason why it's not is because we become more efficient in the things that were created, like manufacturing and shit. So therefore, it's something like your TV that used to cost $1,000 or $5,000 now costs $120 at Walmart,
Yeah.
And so that's the way that you combat it. It's if you get the goal, you become more efficient, or you become more efficient faster than the amount of growth as far as money supply.
No, and I mean that's the pipe dream would be it's applied, it's used as a tool. Yes, everyone's lives get easier, and we're able to progress and move forward as a species on this planet. The opposite end of that is some Skynet, Matrix, scary ass shit. That's where it's because we don't know what's going to happen, right? And there's two sides to every coin. And right now we're kind of standing on the ridges. But it could be great and create some utopia society where we have all these things, or the opposite is its application is not pro people and it's pro profits. And if we use AI in a pro profit mindset, I don't think that goes well for anybody in the long run.
No, but I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's not going to be either of those. But I heard this theory and I kind of think it might be true, where the airplane gets invented, right? Fucking nobody's ever been able to fly before. Who's benefited the most from being able to travel via flight? The consumer, us. Airlines go bankrupt every 5 years.
True.
Need bailouts. Nobody's crushing the airline industry, right? But we're all fucking crushing, because I can go to fucking Texas in 3 hours as opposed to ride my fucking horse for 2 weeks through the fucking desert to try to get to Texas and catch some fucking disease on the way, or I can fly to London instead of going on a boat for 2 weeks. It's
no, that's benefit. True.
And so I feel with AI, it's gonna be so many the the barriers of entry are gonna drop, and there's gonna be so many like AI models and shit like that, uh, like hard to differentiate yourself. So, but that doesn't mean that the benefits from AI aren't gonna be reaped from like society. I just don't know if anybody's gonna cash in like that.
No, I mean, it makes sense. It's a double-edged sword, and it could go either way. And one way is great, the other way could be bad. Not bad for society, but I think bad for individuals, bad for people who don't have a sense of self-worth or a purpose, something to do, something that can challenge them. If you start taking down all obstacles for people, I don't know what the character, the amalgamation of everybody would be like if they don't have to do shit.
Well, I mean, like, if we're going down that road, then we should then also like make adjustments to our education system and maybe prioritize like other shit to learn, like.
No, and I don't disagree, but I don't.
An empathetic, happy person.
The actors who are doing a lot of this shit, I don't fucking trust them.
Well, I was just about to say, well, yeah, but they don't fucking run the country, and then I forgot Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like with the direction that the ship is steering towards, unless it's doing like a big turnaround, it's steering towards more of a storm than it is towards like blue skies and a sunny island. That's
usually we do get a big turnaround because fucking Bush, and then you get Obama.
Because
you get fucking Trump.
Because the actors who make these decisions, who own these models or are purchasing these models, OpenAI is going to be a nonprofit, we're going to help stuff. Oh, now I want like a $500 billion contract to be all over the grid. So it's not like it's just airplanes. It'd be the same thing with airplanes and boats and cars and your groceries. And those people, I don't trust the people who would be implementing it intrinsically because they've given us nothing. Like, I don't trust Peter Thiel. So it's like I'm not going to sit there and listen to this schmuck who's done nothing but rip people off and be a bad actor and be able to profit off of it the entire time, to now he's going to be like, but now I'm going to benefit society.
No, I don't fucking trust them either. Corporations and capitalists, their reason for existing, and they're really fucking good at it, is to make a profit. And that's all they should fucking do. I don't need a company telling me that they're going to benefit society or help me do this. No, you worry about making money for your shareholders and stay the fuck out of everything else and let the elected representatives do it. Guess what? The United States invented the fucking internet.
But what I'm saying
and
is,
we're all better off for it.
Even in this moment, though, they're not necessarily doing that. So that's where it's like, yes, I completely agree with what you're saying, but these people aren't doing it right now. And because they're going to continue to chase profits, the decisions that they make, if they're going to be creating these AI models that are going to help take over the world and make things easier and yada yada yada, but the way they're going about setting it up is already kind of underhanded and fucking weird. I don't expect them to just be like, okay, like now. Because the selling point of AI is that it will benefit society, it will make things easier. So that's why we're doing it in the first place.
Right, but I think you're imagining this like where, like that they're like actively forcing or changing the way we do shit by adding AI to it. And I don't think that's how it's gonna work. It's like AI is gonna create capabilities that there will be applications for, and then just like as society we're like okay, this is obviously the better way to do it here. Like with the internet, it's like it's not like they're like, okay, now everybody's got to do the internet. It's like the internet exists, and then things develop from there.
But that's how it started. But now we see how the internet's being used, has been weaponized, is being
okay. Well, I'll tell you what the fucking problem is with that.
Contorted.
Social media. There is. Guess how many regulations there are for social media in the United States? How many laws pertaining to social media?
0, 1, 5,000. I mean, I don't know how many laws there are pertaining to social media.
I know the exact number, and you had it right. 0.
Okay.
Not a single fucking law regulating Facebook, Google, any of them. Fucking X. So that's the problem. Internet's great, but you gotta fucking check these people.
I know, but we're not. And I'm saying, so at what point do we step in and fucking check these people? That's because these dudes who
In the words of Winston Churchill, the United States will always do the right thing, but only after they try everything else.
Big facts. Therapy question.
Fuck you, you British fuck.
Therapy question number 3. Shout out Texas and Hot Wheels Abbott, you piece of shit. Texas bill would make anybody identifying as transgender a felony punishable by jail. So the therapy question is, should trans people be put in jail? In Texas, a state bill could change transgender people with a charge people with gender identity fraud, making it illegal to identify as trans on official documents and potentially leading to jail time. Tom Oliverson, what an awful last name, would make it a state felony, a state jail felony if a person knowingly makes a false or misleading verbal or written statement by identifying their sex assigned at birth incorrectly to a government entity or to an employer. State jail felonies in Texas are punishable by up to 2 years and a fine of $10,000. How does this fucking help people?
Dude, it doesn't. You know what this sounds like? It sounds like a dude who fucking went to like Thailand and hooked up with a lady boy and got confused, and now he's like hates himself for the rest of his life and has to like take it out on transgender people, or somebody who probably is in the wrong body, probably wants to be transgender and hates himself and fucking, you know, it's like how like homophobic people are like 100% of the time gay, like dude. Like people like talk shit about the Democrats and like their opposition or lack thereof like right now, but it's like I wish like everybody would realize that Democrats aren't talking about transgender people. It's only Republicans who keep bringing this shit up.
I saw that.
It's insane. They're like obsessed with it.
There was that 20 Republicans versus one person with Sam Cedar. I don't know if you've watched that yet. Super eye-opening debate when you watch. There's like a woman who's sitting there.
Was it on Reddit? Yeah.
What was it on Reddit? I mean, I think it was Jubilee, but then yeah, there's like it's an hour and a half long video. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest you do. You got people saying government entities, government agencies get tax breaks for hiring people of color, and he's like, they don't pay taxes. They're funded by the government with taxes.
They're funded by taxes.
And they're like, no, you're wrong. Or there's another woman who talks about how Donald Trump isn't xenophobic enough for her enough. He's like he's a Democrat from 15 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that clip. Yeah.
Like, it's very, very interesting. This is just stupid shit. This doesn't help anybody. These are stupid culture war politics. And Texas is one of the, 4 or 5 states that's just great. Well, Texas loves being a petri dish for racism, bigotry, misogyny, anything that we could do that ends in a Y that's terrible to do to other people. They're fucking there for it. They will be like, oh, we'll shoot that up the ladder and see what happens. Louisiana, Alabama, fucking Texas. There's Florida. There's a short list of states where they're like, they love being the guinea pig to see if what we throw at the wall sticks, right? Like, we're going to deputize everybody to turn in illegal aliens. I'll give you 10 grand if you tell me if somebody's going to be, you think they might have had an abortion or not. Like, this is just stupid Texas politics.
What happened to fucking free speech, small government, dude? Like, throw it in these fucking guys' face. You can't say you're transgender? Are you fucking kidding me? Like Greg Abbott, you better be telling people that you're fucking half cyborg because of your fucking wheels you roll around with, bro. Like, you better identify correctly.
When this came through, I was like, this is the goofiest shit. But in that same Cedar debate, there's a guy, they start battling about transgenderism and just, you know, kids on puberty blockers. And he asked him, he's like, do you know how many kids in the past 5 years have been given puberty blockers? Like, do you know how many kids? He's like, I know the exact number. Do you know it? And he's like, oh, no, you tell me. He's like, no, you tell me. This is a gotcha moment. It is, because by what you're saying, I can tell you don't. 900 kids. 900 kids in the past 5 years have been given and issued puberty blockers across the country. 900 kids. I think he said there's 9 kids every month in the past 5 years, or 9 or more, like 9 to 15 kids every month who get killed by gun violence. There's more kids that are killed by guns in schools.
Way more than that, dude.
I know, but think about that.
It's the leading cause of death for children in the United States is guns.
Yeah, and it's such a goofy culture war battle to have. It's just weaponizing, and Texas is going to see if it passes. Who fucking knows? But that's wild. You don't want them to vote. You don't want them to exist. They can't even say that they are. They can't do any of this stuff. So if you apply for a job and you're trans and you mark down that you're a woman but you were born a guy, I could go into that interview, call you in, get you arrested for a felony and sent to jail for looking for a job. And like that's the goofiest shit.
Doesn't that seem so like anti-Texas, like what they claim to be about, like freedom and like like all this shit. It's like, no, you guys are
freedom for me, not for we, and that's the Texas way, man.
No,
Texas is
freedom for me, not for thee.
Well, I'm saying, oh yeah, okay, that's true. Messed that up. But
I literally just said that yesterday.
But at the end of the day, Texas is full of shit. Texas has always been full of shit.
And which is a microcosm just for the Republican Party at large.
Yeah.
That's why they were able to be captured by this like cult leader who like literally like does everything the opposite of what Republicans say they believe in. Fiscally conservative. He's added more money to the debt than any president in history. He was only there for fucking 4 years, barely there at that. Like, just he's just everything like Republicans swear they like stand. Like anti-abortion. That guy's probably paid for abortions.
Yeah, we've seen that happen in real time. But that's Texas in a nutshell, because Texas isn't even honest about its history. Texas cracks me up. I've gotten in so many arguments with people about the state of Texas, and I love history. That's always been my thing. I'm pretty good. Elephant never forgets. I got a really good memory. And I remember sitting in Patty Willingham's class, and we're learning about like Texas history and the Alamo, and like what I got from it, not deciphering the bullshit, was a bunch of terrible ass dudes, from murderers, rapists, robbers, real estate scammers, all got shit-faced, decided to steal a church that wasn't theirs. Then they got killed, and they sat there and had this battle with Santa Anna, who wasn't even that bad of a dude, pro-democracy, anti-slavery, wanted nothing to do with all this wild, wild west bullshit.
Opioid addict.
Well, cool. Everybody had a vice.
While we're listing accomplishments.
Yeah, I'm just saying everybody had a vice.
Dude like to do a little heroin under a tree every now and then.
Yeah, and take a nap. And then they all get killed. So then you jump everybody at the Battle of San Jacinto and kill everybody while they're taking a siesta in the middle of the day. Like the history of Texas and how Texas became to be independent and the way they portray it in school in the state of Texas is the stupidest shit ever. It's so disingenuous. It's like there's people that were here that were on the run. So it's funny that they're like, hey, we were fighting for what was right, and these guys are fighting for their freedom, but they couldn't go back to their home states because if they did, they'd be arrested for murder. That makes no sense.
I feel like that might be true about Texas in general, but I think that's really what you're talking about is the Alamo.
Well, the Alamo, but the Alamo is a microcosm. That is the 9/11 of fucking Texas history.
No, they try to make it like that. Just like Republicans try to make Reagan the JFK of their party, except for he's not JFK, he sucks.
Yeah.
It's like you guys just don't have any good presidents. You had to come up with just pretend like Reagan was a good one. Like, it's fucking so stupid, dude.
No, but I mean, that's like when and then slavery, like, oh yeah, well, we were only in the Confederacy, we joined late. I'm like, yeah, and you let your slaves go late too, buddy.
Exactly.
Like, so go fuck yourself.
I know, but that's what I don't get, those, because like all this history and shit that we know about, it's like I did learn in school, so like I don't get why but that's also why I'm also baffled by like nobody gives a shit about like democracy, and nobody like gives a shit about like Republicans actively trying to suppress the people's right to vote.
They're like, oh yeah,
like I was told in social studies like how like quintessential the right to vote and how fucked up it was in the past. We had poll taxes and literacy tests to vote, and like how that was so the most anti-American thing that we ever did was like preventing people, like black people, from trying to vote. And some people said that we weren't really a true democracy or a country until 1965, when we passed the Civil Rights Act and finally granted every citizen of the United States full and equal rights. So we're not even 100 years old as a fucking democracy, dude. Like, technically.
No, I know. I just this is the dumbest shit ever. The fact that this is the battles that we're having. So now it's you don't want them to play sports. You don't want them to exist. If they wouldn't let them vote, they would. If they wouldn't let them have kids or adopt, they totally fucking would. And I guarantee you there are couples where someone is trans and they are denied kids strictly based off of that. Especially in the state of Texas. 100%. I would put all the money I have saved down on the...
I don't know, man. I don't even think there's enough trans people to like even like like that there's been like...
Well, I mean, I bet you there's been at least one trans person who would have been a great parent, wanted to adopt a kid, and were denied the opportunity because of who they were and how they identified themselves.
Well, to be honest, Caitlyn Jenner's a bitch, and she didn't deserve.
It's the same thing when they talk about they don't want gay people adopting, and they have issues with gay people adopting. What's interesting is when you delve into that and you see there's been some studies and interviews where they talk to these couples who've adopted kids, and they're like, well, this kid's up for adoption out of an orphanage. Their mother had AIDS. This baby has AIDS. Nobody wants to adopt this kid. Who do you think adopted that kid? A fucking gay couple who just wanted to raise a kid and have a family. There's like, and then that's why these agencies, these adoption agencies, reach out to them and ask them if they're interested in the kids that nobody wants, because they know they want a fucking kid. So it's like, okay, so we're not gonna, you can pick, but you're gonna get to pick from all the ones that nobody wants, because we don't want you to have kids. We don't want you to raise kids because you're gonna turn them gay or whatever the fuck it is, whatever your reasoning is behind it. But when we're in a crunch and in a bind, we know we can call you. Because, like when I was adopted, they called my parent. They were off the list to adopt, but they'd marked that they were open to adopting a boy of mixed race and were okay with that boy being black. That's why we know each other, because that adoption agency, after I was denied, called my fucking mom and dad, and they were like, are you interested? And they said, yeah. And they'd already adopted one of my sisters who was handicapped, and they were open to adopting my sister who had tons of medical issues. To this day still does. Why? Because they were open to the possibility
What would you say her worst medical issue is? That she's a bitch?
Jesus Christ.
That sister was also in the same grade as Joseph.
Well, sometimes. No, but I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example where it's like my parent, like they got called 3 years after being off of the list to adopt me, but because they said they were open to it, they were like, hey, you still into adopting a child of color? That's crazy. And it's the same thing with these gay families where they will be like, hey, there's these 2 kids, fetal alcohol syndrome. They've been sitting on our roster for 5 years. Do you guys want to adopt this kid? And that's whenever they approach them. And what's funny is these gay couples will say they always know that we will say yes because we actually would just want to have a kid, and we're not picky and choosy. We just want to share our love with somebody and start a family. And that's wild to me. So I mean, it's just another example of Texas trying to set the bar, trying to put the watermark on this fucking stupid ass tree where they can see how far they can take it. 6 months or 6 weeks. Then if you get an abortion, where you're going to go to prison, and the doctors, if you leave the state and we find out you left the state to have an abortion, you still broke Texas law, and we're going to try you for murder. That's insane.
I think this is really what's happened, where the Republican Party realized that they could play on people's cultural beliefs and shit like that. So like Christianity, God, right? The Republicans or our daddy party who love the military, love Jesus, fiscally conservative, blah blah blah, right?
Socially liberal.
No, not Republican.
Well, I know that's the whole. I'm fiscally conservative. I'm socially liberal.
You know what's so funny is that the new Chancellor of Germany identifies as socially conservative and fiscally liberal. I was like, I think that's the first time I've ever heard like an actual politician or anybody say that. But no. So what I think Republicans, like I said before, are full of shit. But they would pretend like they were like anti-abortion and all, blah blah blah, to get the votes. Like there's a famous book called What's Wrong with Kansas, and it's all about how Kansas constantly votes Republican, and it constantly votes against their own interests, because Kansas is a poor ass fucking state that would be way better off with Democratic policies, but instead they vote Republican because
Or look
they're
at
Christian.
Look at Nebraska. They just voted all Republican in Nebraska. They're saying is going to be bankrupt by the end of the year because they
Right.
don't have any
So-
workers. They voted against their best interest. There's business owners that voted to basically get rid of everybody that worked for them. It's really funny how many red states in general, and I'm not trying to blanket
Well,
statement
come on,
on
can
all
I just
Republicans, but
let me just finish this point real quick. So Republicans use that shit, full shit. They didn't believe in any of this shit. But the thing is, if you sell that shit long enough, eventually there's gonna be people that come into office that actually believe that, And I think that's where we're at now. Whereas like George W. Bush, was anti-abortion, but like if Jenna Bush, his daughter, got pregnant while I was in the White House, he'd fucking make her have an abortion, like immediately.
and you can
Like,
see where, and not to use
but
them,
now, but now you have like Marjorie Taylor Greene who actually believes this shit, and that's the problem.
yeah, and or you could do the Obama turn where he's like, I'm anti-gay marriage, and then he's like, you know what?
First of all, he did not say that.
Well, I'm just saying he
He
wasn't.
said, "I think marriage is between a man and a woman."
Yeah, and then he was like, hey,
I'm pro civil unions.
I'm
And
wrong.
then Biden came out and was like, "Yeah, I'm for gay marriage." And
And he's like, oh, I was wrong. He's like, hey,
no, but no, first he lost his shit, brought Biden into the fucking Oval, and like I heard it was like, fuck, like
contentious.
like actually like was very pissed off because like he's like, yeah, I fucking do too. I'm pro gay marriage too, dude. But we weren't saying it because that was the deal because of the politics, and then you just went out here and fucking fucked it up.
True. Yeah, this is just the way they try to spin it and make it sound like they're compassionate and empathetic to these people's plight while you take these people's rights away is crazy. Like,
And
it's
they're only
crazy.
doing it because it's the flavor of the month. It's like they think it's popular. The base loves it. Like the ad that the Trump spent the most money on during the election was the transgender attack ad on Kamala, like transgender prisoner or whatever the fuck.
And that's
So
it. Like,
it-
so we're just gonna
so-
take
so
away
as long as it-
healthcare. We're just gonna take away healthcare from all prisoners. Because that's what that's essentially what that would be. Is you're refusing, and now if the whole thing is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
And it's so frustrating to watch them pick these culture wars, but act like it's not about a culture war.
Yeah, but then talk about how it in society. It's like these kids are becoming trans because that's what they're told. Like everybody's is putting those ideas in their head, and it's like if y'all would just stop accusing people of trans violations, I don't think I would ever hear about trans people. It's like I probably go for 5 years without hearing or meeting a trans person. I mean, maybe that's my bad. I need to get out more, but what I'm saying? Like there's such a small percentage of the population. And there's nobody who's like. It's the same thing with defund the police. Biden never said that. Biden fucking loves cops, dude. But the Democrats just get branded with it because fucking some asshole on TikTok said it one time.
Well, yeah, and you can't sit there and be like, hey, just so you know, I think it's fucked up that we are giving all of this extra, military equipment to, Louisville, Texas. They have, a fucking tank. And it's yeah, that's, over-policing. You're setting up, and if you say that, it's oh, well, you just hate cops. It's
yeah.
No, cops shouldn't.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump's pardoning cop beaters from January 6th and gutting the fucking FBI. Last time I checked, those are police. He's literally defunding the police. He's doging the fucking police. He's defunding them so hard. But Democrats, where are you? You guys can't get on the same message as the Republicans. Republicans said that about you when it wasn't true and fucking branded you with it. But you can't brand them with it when it is true. But at the same time, and I don't know this for a fact. I just know it's true. I mean, I feel like Republican voters are significantly dumber than Democratic voters.
Yeah, I'd highly suggest you watch that Sam Cedar thing, and you'll walk away baffled, some of the shit you hear. You're just oh my god. But yes, please, let's get rid of, please, yeah, we need more Jesus in school. We need to push this religious ideology on people. It's so dumb. and so frustrating to see and depressing. Like, I mean, I just bought a house in Texas, and that's like, I'm like, fuck. Like, I bought a house in Texas. I could leave anytime,
No, just
but
flip it to some like rich asswipe who's moving from California because he wants to like get lower taxes and.
but it's not the property taxes suck.
No, I know. Okay, but that's just what these fucking idiots think. Dude.
No. It's like there's no state tax,
Oh,
but
Texas is like literally I think in the top 5 as far as taxation states. If
you break it all down.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I totally believe it. Totally believe it.
but again, just like Republicans, they brand it, dude. No income tax.
Yeah, what are they proposing now? They're saying Trump's going to propose a bill that says if you make less than 150K, you won't pay income tax. It's like that's not going to happen. But if you do that, then yes, it's easier to defund Social Security. It's easier to do some of the goofy shit that they want to do. You can make things unstable to where they seem redundant and pointless, and then you can get rid of them.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, then you can get rid of them. Make it to
right.
where it doesn't work. It's like whenever I wanted
say
new
government's
shoes.
say government's incompetent, then actively sabotage government, and then show that as proof of you were correct. Government is incompetent, and then go privatize everything and make the money.
A good analogy is when I was a kid, I had this mongoose bike. It was sick, but the brakes were shot on it, so it had no brakes at one point for a while. And man, if you ever wanted new shoes, let's hang out. We'll go down the hills, ride the bike. Got to use your shoes to stop. Doesn't matter what the shoes are like or not. And you just wear your shoes down and be like, Mom, I need new shoes. So if you ever wanted new shoes and your parents wouldn't get them for you, you could ride this mongoose bike I had. I did it. I watched 50 of my friends do it growing up. Ride the bike like a crazy person.
Like wear the soles out?
To wear the soles out to where you'd have to get new shoes. So all they're doing is wearing the soles out on these shoes to where they feel like they're justified in getting new shoes. To convince your parents, look at how bad these are, I need new ones now. But in reality, I'm purposely ruining the shoes because I just want to get new ones. They don't know that. They don't see us doing that. We collectively know that's what we're doing, but it's our little scheme to get what we want out of something. But I have to ruin.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but on purpose.
On purpose. I'm purposely ruining my shoes to get new ones. I'm purposely doing it because there's no way I could convince my mom to get me new shoes when she just bought me some 5 months ago and they're fine, but I don't like them anymore. I want new ones. Well, you just got those. We need to wait. So I'll ruin them. I'll grind them down and then in 3 weeks be like, oh my God, look, they're falling apart. And she's like, oh shit, they are. I guess we do need to go get you new ones. Let's just figure this out. And that's all these people are doing. That's all Texas is doing. And it's disgusting to watch.
Yeah,
That's actually
if you listen to Republicans, they say like the government's bad. Like Reagan was the fucking one who said it. The most terrifying words you could ever hear is, "Hi, I'm like at your doors. Hi, I'm the government. I'm here to help." What? Like he said that, and like that like took hold, and it's like like he made the government like this incompetent boogeyman. It's like, but at the same time, like people hype up the country, and our patriots. It's like. Okay, like I thought the United States was like the best country in the world, dude. Like the government like won World War I and II. The government got us to the moon. The government invented the internet. Like when did the United States government become incompetent? Well, it didn't. They just fucking tell you it is, and then they try to do their best to sabotage it, so then them and their cronies can go cash in. That's all it is, man. They're just addicted to money.
Yeah. You need your break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right. We're at the 2-hour mark. We're an hour and a half. Those are good therapy questions. Boom, boy. We will be back in about 8 minutes. Cool. We will be back, you guys, with the articles.
For the audio in 1 second.
Yeah, and the audio.
Recording stopped.
Quickly.
Recording in progress.
That was an old school long therapy question session.
Huh?
That was good. I mean, good little debates. I like it.
We're on to the articles, yeah. And just a few interesting events that had taken place recently. This one should give, us hope here in the United States. This one's from The Guardian by Rebecca Ratcliffe. Duterte flown to The Hague after arrest over Philippines drug war killings. Ex-president to face charges of crimes against humanity over war on drugs that rights groups say left 30,000 dead. Rodrigo Duterte used to be the president of the Philippines. He was like kind of like an autocrat, and he cracked down on drug usage in the Philippines, but which meant like he would just like shoot people, like with no like due process for like doing drugs. Like,
you smelled weed? Let's shoot him.
Yeah, literally. All right, here we go. The former Philippine president, Rodrigo Duterte, has left Manila on a plane headed to The Hague, hours after he was served with an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court over the killings resulting from his war on drugs. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. told a press conference that a plane carrying Duterte took off at 11:03 p.m. local time on Tuesday. The plane is en route to The Hague in the Netherlands, allowing the former president to face charges of crimes against humanity in relation to his bloody war on drugs, he said. Duterte's youngest daughter, Veronica Duterte, who was the vice president of the Philippines, when Rodrigo left, he made a deal with Marcos Jr., whose dad used to be the president of the Philippines. It was kind of a dictator. That Duterte's daughter would be the vice president. And I mean, this isn't in the article, but I don't know if you heard about this, but she said on TV that she hired a hitman to kill the current president, Ferdinand Marcos, if she was killed. So cause she thought that Marcos was gonna try to have her killed, so she claimed in public that if that happens, that a hitman will kill the president, and then she was immediately impeached and is now is facing legal charges herself for saying that she hired her hitman to kill the fucking president. Well, now her daddy's going to The Hague. Duterte's youngest daughter, Veronica Duterte, said on social media that the plane had been used to kidnap her father. The former leader will turn 80 this month and is accused by ICC prosecutors of crimes against humanity for his anti-drug crackdowns, in which as many as 30,000 people were killed. Most of the victims were men in poor urban areas who were gunned down in the streets. Duterte was arrested Tuesday morning at Manila's main airport after flying back from Hong Kong. Early in the morning, Interpol Manila received the official copy of the warrant of the arrest from the ICC. The presidential palace said in a statement, "As of now, he is under custody of the authorities." This article goes on, but basically, the Philippines was a party to the International Criminal Court, but Duterte pulled them out of being a participant in the International Criminal Court, in 2019. But they were a part of it in the beginning of his administration, so they were allowed to continue their investigation and prosecution of anything that happened while the Philippines was still a party to the International Criminal Court, and so that's what he's getting charged with. It's crazy because I always wondered, because Putin has an arrest warrant out for him. So if he he was going to go to a BRICS summit in South Africa, and South Africa is a part of the International Criminal Court, and if you are a part of that and somebody who has a warrant out for their arrest by the International Criminal Court, you have an obligation to arrest them if they go into your country. But then I was trying to think how do you do that? The United States is not a part of the International Criminal Court, so we wouldn't adhere to any of that shit anyways. But can you imagine trying to arrest an American president with the Secret Service? How does that go down?
That'd be wild. That's talk about a showdown. I
know. I mean, that did just kind of happen because the now disgraced president of South Korea, who declared martial law, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they just arrested him, but they had a fucking standoff at his compound, and his Secret Service was basically in a standoff with the police of South Korea, and they're because their job is to protect the president. So no, you guys can't come in here. But after a couple of days, they finally
after they laid siege upon them.
Yeah, like finally they got him out. But like yeah, like that's like a mild version of like what do you do, dude?
Yeah, and do Duterte is like a piece of shit, and that's why.
Big piece of shit.
I mean, and he has been. It's honestly good to see this dude get arrested, get locked up. That's funny, honestly.
I know.
You can't indiscriminately kill 30,000 people because they do drugs and gun them down in the streets like they're meaningless, and not expect somebody to do something about it and not take notice and be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's over there."
Right, because the Philippines is a democracy,
Yep.
an ally of the United States.
Yep.
We got a base in the Philippines, the United States military. Like they're not some that's like I'm sure the fucking mullahs and the Ayatollah have like judiciously killed civilians on the same scale, but they're fucking theocratic, dictatorship,
And
and
they're a little bit quieter about it.
well, even it doesn't even matter. But like they're just not a part of the free world. So but like the Philippines is and was a part of the International Criminal Court. I don't think Iran's part of it, but to be honest, I wouldn't. I don't know. But like, it's just like if you're gonna play in the sandbox with, the legit players of the world, then you're gonna be held accountable like that too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Bibi Netanyahu got an arrest warrant out for his ass by the International Criminal Court. But again, the United States is not a part of it. So when he came here to
Yeah, that's all he does is hang
Trump.
out here. They just come here to hang out. They're like, "Oh, hey, we cool."
I think I mentioned this before, but this is fun. It is worth mentioning again that Bibi Netanyahu and his wife, if you are a head of state come to visit the United States, the White House staff will take your luggage and like do the laundry, and Bibi Netanyahu and his wife would purposely not do their laundry and bring multiple suitcases of dirty laundry with them every time they come to the United States, so that the White House staff could do their laundry and fold that shit for them. And the person that I heard saying this says literally nobody does that. They're the only ones who have found this cool loophole where we get free laundry.
Hey, I'm gonna sleep over. Is it cool if I bring a couple trash bags full of laundry to just wash? You don't mind helping me fold them, right? You have hangers I can use. I'm just gonna take some hangers home, like last time.
Wild, because fucking Netanyahu, he's been accused of corruption and shit, and the only reason why he hasn't gotten to jail is because he's the prime minister or the president of Israel, whatever, the prime minister, and that's why this war's been going on for so long. Because as soon as the war ends, then they're gonna kick Netanyahu out of office. Then he's gonna have to go to fucking jail. So it's but the reason why I'm bringing this up is the shit he's accused of is getting gifts of bottles of wine and cigars, really small shit, but just textbook illegal. And but it's he's getting the free laundry, he's getting the free bottle of wine, and it's and the consequences of it are a prolonged siege of Gaza, just so that he doesn't get held accountable for his petty grifting.
Yeah, it's fuckery. But I mean, this is to all these dictators and stuff, or people who are wannabe dictators. This is what can happen. That's the whole thing. Is
what should happen.
We see how this story ends for a lot of them in the long run. We've seen it. And you can try to spin it or make it out to be this way or that way, but at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. One of my favorites is Gaddafi, because Gaddafi was doing all these things. He's trying to bring water to the desert. Everybody gets free health care. If you're going to buy a house, if you get married, the government's going to give you $50,000 to go purchase a home. All of these programs that are pro-people, but he was a ruthless dictator, and if you resisted or didn't like what he was doing, Gaddafi would fucking kill you with his militant army of women assassin bodyguards. And so at the end of the day, regardless of what he was doing, the way he went about trying to do these things was corrupt and fucked up. So whenever he was out, or when he's getting beaten in the street by his own people because he was still doing fucked up stuff. So this guy's like, hey, we got a drug problem in the Philippines. We got to do something about it. I'm just going to start indiscriminately killing people. You could be anti-drugs and not, I need to murder everybody that I catch smoking a joint underneath the bleachers.
Well, you know what's fucked up? Duterte, when he left office, 90% approval rating.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's not a fake 90%, like, you know, like Putin says he gets 90% of the fucking vote. It's like, yeah, because you fucking killed and jailed all your, like, opponents and then stuffed the ballot box. That's not what that is. But, fucking Duterte. Like, just... It's
good to see this guy get his comeuppance because he's a piece of shit. He's always been a piece of shit. And anybody who's... There's no empathy when it comes to that stuff, and that's what we're really seeing is whenever you take somebody like a Duterte, you take a Putin, you can take a Gaddafi, a Saddam Hussein, Bashar al-Assad, a Netanyahu, like we can name them off, like everybody I just named off, like Ayatollah, they all fit into this barrel where they lack this empathy for other people.
Yeah, and sociopaths.
Yeah, but yes, but
I know
it's on such a grand scale that it's like it's almost like soup. Like, could you be a mega sociopath? Because it supersedes. You know, it's bigger than that.
There's a really like, and this sounds like, you know, like some fucking like QAnon shit, whatever. Like, there really is a high percentage of sociopaths that make it into positions of power. And that's because, like, the normal things that, like you and I, like, that would be kind of, like, an obstacle for us, like, doesn't bother a sociopath. Like, they can, like, get, like, fail and, like, don't feel, like, you know, like, weird about, like, losing or doing something, like, fucked up in order to get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
It just doesn't register. Like,
same thing like the point I make about Oprah all the time.
Well, yeah, like Trump's superpower is he's shameless.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but that's what I'm saying is
it's like all presidents before Trump would have never sold Teslas in the back of the White House lawn because they're like they have shame. You know, but Trump doesn't even know what the fuck that word means. So
no, I mean, yeah, but that's where, you know, to reach, I've said that before, to anybody, don't care who it is, to reach that level of success, you've crushed people's hopes and dreams to reach that point and didn't give two fucks about them or some of the people around you. That's why the people around them constantly change, is because they're dispensable to them. They're my person of right now, but they probably won't be my person later, and they know that. Like when you look at like a Rex Tillerson, or you look at a Bill Barr, and how pivotal they were in the first Trump term, and how they were treated, and how he just cast them all aside. Oh, fuck all those guys, they're all stupid. Rex Tillerson's an idiot. I only pick the best people. Because he didn't need that person anymore, so then just cast him to the side. And yeah, I mean, to reach that level, there's got to be there's something off. And then especially if you reach that level and you don't ever want to relinquish it. And that's what you really see is these guys reach that level. They're so addicted to the power that once they reach it, they're like there's almost a sense of entitlement to have that kind of sway or that kind of pull over people and be able to be like, yeah, I'm going to kill, you know, whenever he's killing 30,000 people on the street, 90% approval rating leaving office, he felt like he shouldn't have to leave. He didn't want to leave.
It's kind of crazy that he did leave. Like, I remember thinking that in real time, like when it was happening. And then it's like his political rival, like he replaced Ferdinand Marcos's dad, like as like the dude in the Philippines, and then Marcos' son comes in to replace him, and they used to like hate each other, but then it seemed like they're like, yeah, fuck it, we'll make it work for both of us. And it's like, no, dude, like shit flipped hard, and then now Marcos, the president, is like, yeah, you guys want to arrest him? Fuck it.
But it's the same. But it's the same with the Marcos family. It's the same thing with the Duterte family or Duterte family, and it's still family.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Both sides have some sociopathic tendencies that refuse to relinquish power. So I lost to this guy. So now my son's gonna come and take you out. Now I'm gonna get what I want. Because at the end of the day, like, And then her daughter, well, if I die, I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker. Like that's crazy talk. It's too sociopathic.
I don't really see how that is like should be illegal. Like this guy's only gonna kill you if you kill me.
I mean, that's hardcore. That's
It's
some
hardcore.
wild.
It's hardcore.
But I mean, so he's raised a sociopath that's taken it to another level. Each one of them, they just take it up a notch, and you're seeing Trump in real time replicate some of this shit with his kids and the way they prop up.
I'm saying the kids are always way more fucked up if you're raised by the sociopath, like fucking like autocrat, like Uday and Hussein. Yeah, dude. 'Cause he would take them into prisons and give them a pistol, and make them execute prisoners when they were like children, dude. Like that's not gonna fuck you up. Like nepo babies are just like babies that like rich kids are, like are generally gonna be fucked up.
Like I can't believe that they did that. It's
So
like
imagine,
I fucking can. What are you talking about? Whenever you hear the stories about the Hussein sons, and you're just like one of them got shot and paralyzed in a car, and then ended up dying later, but like because he was a fucking monster. Like, I was doing horrific stuff in public, and people were just like, we can't do this anymore. Like, this is out of fucking control. And somebody chose to do something about it, shoot him up in his car while he's perusing around looking for girls to kidnap. And, like, to reach that level is fucking wild. And, like, if Viktor Orban, if he has a kid, if somebody's been dumb enough to fuck that guy, which I'm sure someone has, like, what do you think his kid's gonna be like?
Not consensually, but yeah.
What do you think his kid's gonna be like? I have to carry on my father's legacy. Your father's legacy is like a dictatorship. It's brutal. It's some of the craziest shit that we've seen. That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are all fucking wild. You could put them all in one barrel.
Viktor Orban's best friend from like 5th grade, who's like a plumber, is a billionaire because Viktor Orban just like gave him like they put him as like in charge of a company.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Putin. Putin does the same shit.
That's right. There was oligarchs, like right after the Soviet Union collapsed in 1990, 89, whatever. So immediately, because in the communist country, everything was owned by the government, by the state. So then like everything's now privatized when communism falls. So everybody's trying to grab on, like trying to take charge of the oil companies or the grain companies or like the big industries, and so that got divvied up. But then when Putin came in 2000, it wasn't like he's like, we gotta get rid of these oligarchs. He's like, no, I gotta put my dudes in as the oligarchs. So he replaced all the dudes with his homies as the oligarchs, and they were all in their like mid-20s and shit. But now they're all like in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I mean,
those are the oligarchs that we see today.
Yeah,
but that is the autocratic playbook. Is you start like the predictor of how well you're going to do in business is a direct correlation of your proximity to the leader.
Yeah,
so whoever's closest to the leader is gonna do the best, and that's why I don't get these fucking like CEOs like groveling at Trump. It's like, you guys are undermining like especially Elon Musk. You became the richest man in the world because of the United States and how it's set up right now, but you're like trying to undermine the whole fucking thing. It's not gonna end well.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch people try to play like Russian oligarch when they're not. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like,
or David Balsax, the crypto czar, who's like trying to like get us like the Bitcoin reserve. What's America's biggest advantage in the fucking world? It's the U.S. dollar, dude. It's more powerful than our fucking like strike carriers like off like in the Persian Gulf, dude. Like having the world's reserve currency, and then our government, the United States government, is gonna go and undermine that, like with Bitcoin. A strategic reserve, because what if we run out of Bitcoin? There's a Bitcoin shortage, or we have a reserve. It doesn't even make sense when you say it. It's like,
no, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then Trump said, we're buying Bitcoin. We're never gonna sell it. What is the fucking point of it, dude? What is it doing other than enriching everybody who owns Bitcoin right now? That's all it is. Everybody who's already owner of XRP, Solana, Cardano, Bitcoin, and Ethereum are the only people who are going to benefit from this.
Yeah, that's it.
Zero benefit for the American people.
No, zero. Yeah. But yeah, good. Fuck that dude. Glad he's in jail.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go well for him.
An 80-year-old going to jail is a life sentence. Like, no matter how long the jail sentence is.
I mean, they could just keep him and not even try him. They won't, because then they'd be like, "Oh shit, we're hypocrites." But I mean,
no, they need a show trial, dude.
No, they probably will.
Yeah, that's the point. Deterrence. Okay. These next two are kind of just related, but I just want to kind of speed through since we've been going kind of long.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I also got the shorties at karaoke. She's waiting until we're done recording before she comes over.
Oh, okay. She's like, hurry up.
No, she wasn't saying that. But karaoke's over in 2 minutes, so.
Ah, gotcha.
3 killed in biggest Ukrainian drone attack on Moscow region. Okay, that undersells this. Ukraine launched the biggest drone attack in the history of the world on Moscow, which is insane because we've basically had a drone war for the last 3 years in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So the fact that Ukraine launched more drones at one time than either of them have this entire war is wild. Doing so while the United States had stopped sharing intelligence with them up until today. But here in the article, this one's by Guy Falconbridge and Antonin Kalatazini. At least 91 drones down around Moscow, 343 overall in Russia, 3 killed by debris at a meat warehouse, 17 others injured. Largest Ukrainian drone attack on Russian capital. Ukraine drones hit oil facilities in Moscow and Oriol regions. Ukraine on Tuesday launched its biggest ever drone attack on Moscow surrounding region, killing at least. We saw that. The dawn attack unfurled ahead of talks between U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia on seeking an end to the 3-year war as Russia forces try to encircle thousands of Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk. So Kursk is the part of Russia that Ukraine invaded and occupied and still does right now. But fucking the Russians sent men through a fucking gas pipe that was underground and were able to then flank the Ukrainians right now in Kursk. So yeah, they're encircled, the troops there.
Yeah.
But it's insane that the Ukrainians have been able to hold on to this fucking thing for this long in the first place, you know? I thought Putin's a big bad dude you don't want to fuck with, but Ukraine just walked into Russia and just took it.
Well, we've learned that their military sucks.
Yeah.
Like, Russia's supposed to be the second biggest superpower when it comes to the military, right? And they're a clown show.
Paper bear.
They're a fucking clown show. That's obvious.
That's what happens, dude. When you have an autocratic, corrupt oligarchy, is people grift and your shit doesn't work. And I think that Xi Jinping over in China is really worried about that. He's doing this anti-corruption campaign where he's just firing fucking people in the Defense Department. But that's because it's dude, they're skimming up the top. He's not even sure if his fucking missiles work because they haven't needed to use them, you know?
Yeah.
And these guys are probably we don't need to use these. We'll just fucking cash. We'll just pocket this shit and just put some duds in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's real.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, shout out Ukraine, hold it down. But at the end of the day, I mean, what do you expect Ukraine to do? You know, and that's, I mean, good on them. And largest drone strike in the history of the world. That's crazy.
I know.
Dude, that would be terrifying, though. It's frustrating because, I mean, I have friends that are Russian. I know people from Russia that have family in Russia. The innocent collateral damage on both sides is just not. It ain't it, bro. It ain't it. It's gonna keep going.
Okay, but that's not equivalent. The Russians have taken hundreds of thousands of casualties, but those are soldiers.
Yeah, no. But I know. But I mean,
Russia bombs civilians in Ukraine on an hourly basis.
oh, not disagreeing. So
Maternity wards, hospitals.
but the eye for an eye is just
yeah,
because that's kind of what it is. Whenever you're telling people are dying in meat packing plants, like those homies were just at work, and it's frustrating to see because yes, and that's what Russia has to do. They have to resort to bombing hospitals and daycares and shooting just missiles indiscriminately into town. There's no like precision to it. But then when that's
kind of how they fight in actual against other militaries. It's like this thing. It's called like when they're picking targets, like the term for it is like they do like area targeting, where they'll like launch missiles into like indiscriminately into a specific area, whereas the United States is like dialing down on the specific target that we're trying to hit at any given time. Russia's just like, fuck it, we're just gonna bomb this area that these people are in.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's different than them bombing hospitals. That's the shit that they learned in Syria.
Yeah, that's true. Or they taught Syria. One of the two. Those two go.
Yeah, that was their dry run. Except for it wasn't
like,
dry.
Look, man, all right, you find when you see
wet full of fucking nerve gas.
When you see a hospital, you must crush it like paper bear. I mean, Iron Bear.
Yeah. Okay, and then related, so Donald Trump and his cronies, in their their infinite desire to blackmail Zelensky.
Oh yeah.
Got him to the Ukrainians to meet with U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia to discuss peace talks. They agreed. Well, this is, I'll take this with a grain of salt. They agreed to a 30-day ceasefire, and when I say they, Ukraine agreed to the terms the United States proposed for ceasefire. However, it doesn't mean anything if Russia doesn't agree to it. Not to mention, a ceasefire is not peace, and Russia is taking L's all damn day, losing 2,000 people a day. And running it, they need North Korean bullets, they need fucking Iranian drones. They thought they were going to be there for 2 weeks and then own Ukraine. They've been there for 3 years. Best thing ever for them would be like, ceasefire. They can recoup, get their shit together, and then just go back the fuck in. Like, nothing's stopping. They had a ceasefire in 2019 that Russia broke. Like, after they invaded Crimea in 2014,
mm-hmm.
and then there's been like an active war going on, like in these like regions on the east of Ukraine, like leading up to this full-scale invasion. But they all agreed to stop shooting each other, and then Russia was like, "Oh, fuck it, we're gonna break it," and then they invaded them anyways. Like, so it's like you can't even trust Putin. The ceasefire is bullshit.
Yeah.
And Russia's not even trying to agree to this. Like, they don't even want to. Like, why would they? And then, but because the reason why the Ukrainians did this is not because they need a ceasefire right now. I mean, like, they would like the war to stop, but not like this. But why they did it was because a part of the deal was that the United States would then undo the pause of sending military aid and also start sharing intelligence again with Ukraine, which they did, according to what I heard, immediately today. So, but like, it's just so like the United States arguably is complicit in committing war crimes when we take our intelligence sharing away from Ukraine, so they don't know where these missiles are coming, and then like civilians are dying, like,
Yeah.
Like, what do you think's gonna happen, bro?
Yeah. What do you expect Ukraine to do other than to agree so they can stop watching their people?
So they could just find out where the missiles are coming, so they could try to stop them. It's not, it's like not like it's a guaranteed stuff. They just want a chance.
It's not like we bought an paid for an Iron Dome.
Defend themselves.
It's like we paid for an Iron Dome for them, so they don't have.
We didn't even pay for one for ourselves. We just fucking gave it to Israel.
Right? That's the craziest shit ever. I've always found that interesting. That I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's bullshit. I feel like that we do have it.
I think we do too. I think that if they were to launch a nuke, intercontinental ballistic missile to try to come to the U.S., that shit would get shot down over the Pacific real quick. We probably have Iron Dome technology. That's like the big thing when they talk about with Russia and being provoked. I mean, if you look at a map of that region of the world and where U.S. bases are and where we have military presences, it's like over time we've slowly just like been moving up. And I guess we're done moving. I think we've stopped. We might even start.
What are you talking about? We just got Finland and Sweden.
No, I know, but with the current policies that are being so pro-Russia, that I mean, it's you see what I'm saying? Like, but over the past like what 50 years, 60 years, we've been like creeping closer, and that's a big.
That's a steel man argument because that is what Putin's talking points are. That you know that this is about NATO expansionism, and it's not, dude. It's not at all, dude. It's he wants to restore the fucking Soviet Union to its great power. He wants to be an expansionist country. He wants to be at the fucking big boy table, like when decisions are made globally. He feels like that Russia was humiliated, like with the collapse of the U.S. He literally said the collapse of the Soviet Union was the worst catastrophe of the 20th century. The 20th century that had World War I and World War II in it. The collapse of the Soviet Union was worse, according to Putin. So, like, if you want to know where he's coming from, he doesn't think Ukraine is a real fucking place. He thinks it's Russia. You know, like, so he just says shit like, you know, he says that to to his population, like we're at war with the West. You know, no, dude, this guy's got fucking like ambitions to fucking conquer people through force.
Yeah, 100%. And we're at this point becoming complicit in it.
Yeah.
Or when Elon Musk is like, I'm going to turn off Starlink thing. It's like,
for what? Like, why are you guys like as if Zelensky did something to the United States for them to be like pissed off about? It's like this dude got invaded and is trying to like survive, and we're trying to help him. Also, everybody always forgets the part where when the Soviet Union collapsed, Ukraine had a bunch of nuclear weapons because that's where they were at the time, you know, when the Soviet collapsed. And we, the United States, told Ukraine to convince them to give up all their nuclear weapons in exchange for a security guarantee by the United States. We got your back. Just give them up. Give them back to Russia proper, and let them just hold on to them. That way, we know there's, you know, safe.
I guess
Russia already has. Well, like Russia already has nukes. Like,
yeah, they're like,
what's a few more?
What's 12 more?
Yeah.
And
then the shit hits the fan, and we're like, fuck, we forgot.
Y'all are talking out of pocket. It's like,
right.
dude, I thought you were
like that. That's bad for our credibility, but it's even worse the message it sends, which is, hey, you better go get nukes, because if you don't, somebody with nukes can invade you. But if you have nukes, you know, like
they'll leave you alone.
We self-deterred with Russia this whole 3 years. Like, we can't use our missiles to attack in Russia. You know, we don't want to escalate. We don't want to escalate because they have nukes. Meanwhile, like they're committing fucking war crimes on a Nazi level, and we're standing by like, we don't want to do it.
Well, you know, they used to live there. That used to be theirs. So you know.
I mean, it's insane. So it's like if you don't want nuclear proliferation around the world, then the United States needs to stand up for countries that don't have nukes.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. I'm good with that. I put that last article in there the last second, but we can talk about it because it's not new. We'll talk about it another time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down. No worries. I got you, man. Shorty with the face. Coming over to the place. Hey. It was nice to see her the other day, too. And just for a second. She's chill.
She told me yesterday they were having girls' night tonight. I was like, you're having girls' night without me? Because I just had two pocket queens and I went all in. And said it was ladies' night. Why am I not invited?
I got dealt the Twisted Sisters and turned it into ladies' night. Come on, yo. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It was
good episode, man. I mean, I know we went long on the therapy questions, but I tried to pick some good ones. There's so much going on that I had to put some of these topics in.
No, I know totally.
To just talk about, because it's just like we could do an episode pretty much every fucking day, and talk about all this crazy shit that's going on. And since we do it once a week, I mean, it changes. Like, it's like there's something that's going to happen at noon next Tuesday that's like, what the fuck? That's crazier than the
What
other.
sucks though, because that's part of their strategy. Is the Steve Bannon flood the zone with shit, and they'll only be able to like focus on a couple things, and then the rest of it we'll just get away with, and it kind of works.
Yeah, but you know, that's why we have 2 segments. We can talk about as much as we can.
No, I know.
Fuck you, Steve Bannon, you piece of shit.
I was just saying the reason why things.
You swamp monster. And I don't mean that in like the political swamp, like he looks like a fucking swamp monster. Arguably,
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He used to work for Goldman Sachs. He wears 3 dress shirts at one time, dude. Like
with a weird
with acne,
with like a weird like tactical vest thing over it. Like I never understood that. I saw another guy and I literally said that dude's dressed like Steve Bannon.
I think he has like really bad body odor and he's trying to cover it up. Or if you wear 3 dress shirts, you're probably gonna have really bad body odor. So
I mean, either way,
either covering it up or creating it.
Yeah, it's like the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Which thing stunk first? All of his shirts, or just Steve Bannon in general? Is it causing the stink, or is it?
I think it's hilarious. Like Adam Kinzinger, former representative Republican out in Ohio, he was on the January 6th committee.
Got pardoned by the president, so he wouldn't.
Pardoned by Biden.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So that Trump wouldn't
be able to go after him, and still threaten to be like, I could still come after you if I want. You're like, get out of here. Like, I'm coming after you.
So it was a good idea that I got the pardon. Okay, cool. But no, he said that, he goes, I don't know why anybody doesn't talk about it, but like Donald Trump smells like shit. And I was like, that makes total sense. He's a fat dude who's constantly in a suit, like, you know, like
spray tan,
like, you know, getting like verklempt and frustrated all the time. The coke slaps, you know, makes him sweat a little bit. Like, I mean, he wears Depends. Maybe it's actual shit in his pants. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so. But then I just think about it. It's like, it makes it so much worse. Like all these people who like grovel, like at his, like, you know, like are sycophants of him. It's like you have to. Like you're obsessed with, you have to pretend like you're obsessed with this guy, or you are, and he smells like shit.
Yeah, I mean that's a deal breaker. Anybody that's like
I know.
Stinky people, I think it's in Big Daddy when he's like, you know, and your son's hygiene's a little rough, and he's like, my kid's the stinky kid in class. I let my son become the stinky kid in class. Like that's fucking true. Like he is the stinky kid in class, but people want to hang out with him because like he's got money. And he's like popular for, so he's that kid that was popular for nobody knows why. Why was he popular? I don't fucking know, but everybody loved him, or at least they acted like they did.
No, he was the rich kid whose parents didn't give a fuck.
So you go party at his house.
Yeah, but nobody liked him.
Yeah, we know a couple of those.
Yeah. That was like, I know.
I can think of exactly one person.
You get exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we'd be like, oh, we're throwing a party at your house, but you're a total piece of shit. And he'd be like, okay. Because cops can't come on my property, and we'll just, you know, ride off of fucking Peytonville. But, you know, come party, let's smoke weed at my house, whatever. Come and go as you please. Just don't tell anybody I smell like shit.
All right, we have to go, but if you ever watched the show Siesta Key on MTV, it's like Laguna Beach, but in Florida. There's a kid like that, except for he's like not, like, he doesn't suck. He's like a nice kid, but like everybody just uses him because he's like the richest of all those rich kids. And
yeah,
it's just like, it's weird. It's like, guys, like he's actually like way like more of a nice, cool person to be around than any of you. Like,
yeah.
You guys all are like, look at this fucking rich
look at this idiot. No. Yeah. I mean, well, I know you got to go, but do you have any great words of advice before we take off and you go hang out with your shorty with the face?
Meditate, bitches.
Make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe, comment. Dude, we've been blowing up on the Facebook views, surprisingly. Like, we've been crushing it. I don't know if you look at the analytics or the insights, but I mean, past 28 days, we're like 600, 700 views on our stuff. So we've been crushing it. But we appreciate y'all checking us out. Like I said, hug your loved ones. Let people know you love them. That is super, super important. But yeah, just be good. Stay out of trouble. Be safe. And as always, go fuck yourselves.
Hello.
Recording stopped.
Every now and then when I feel a bit buggy, I look at the floor, maybe need a new ruggy. Scratch at, I'll get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some old man huggy. Old man huggy. Some old man huggy. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality.